Alrighty. So yeah, we're gonna do badges, partners, star powers, and items. Items are gonna be a little weird, but I just kind of want to talk about them. Because of double dip. So, yeah, I just want to talk about it a little. It's not as crazy as like TTYD, but it's something I feel like I'd like to talk about. So, okay. So yeah, as you can see, I have taken out all of the all of the non-combat related badges. That does include peekaboo, like refund, any of the bump attack, first attack, etc. All of these badges, all of the ones that aren't the effects badges have a use, but they are non-combat related and ultimately do not play into what I'm tiering these badges for. So was not worth it for me to even try to tier them. This is where they are. There's uses for all of these except for Runaway Pay, which is probably the worst badge in the game. Everything else you can kind of use. I used Peekaboo if I could fit it in. So, okay. So yeah, here's all our badges. Look at all of them. Now, I have to preface this, like I always do, with how I tier these badges. These are... this is from a challenge runner's perspective. If you don't know who I am, I'm a very good challenge runner. I'm a very good player. I do a lot of challenge runs for 64 and T2ID. I'm very familiar with both combat systems. And when I'm tiering these badges, I'm thinking about their uses in challenge runs, and in more lenient challenge runs and quote-unquote casual playthroughs, I would call it, what you build around. So as you go down the tiers, you will find badges that you would build around less but may come in handy once or twice. And then F is, for me, I would say you're not going to equip almost ever. That's what I would say. I want to keep in mind really quick, because someone may bring this up or they may be watching this on YouTube. Do not think about the Paper Mario 64 randomizer when I'm tiering these badges. The rando is a randomizer. Some badges become way more useful because it's all you have, or the way you're fighting, the order that you're fighting bosses and enemies makes things different. So don't think about that when you're do not think about that with this tier list. This is vanilla. This is going from prologue to chapter 8. I just want to make sure that when you're watching this, you understand the proper context. You're not like, wait a minute, man. X badge is pretty good if you do this and this, and I actually found use for it in the randomizer. That's great. I'm glad you found use for it in the randomizer. That doesn't make it good. Yeah. So yeah. Just a quick breakdown. S, the best of the best. Cores of strategies. You're gonna find these badges almost every time I'm crafting a strategy. A is really good, but I either usually complements the S tiers, or they're actually a core, but they're actually not as necessary as S tier badges when it comes to cores. Some badges you'll find yourself using a lot, but sometimes you don't really need the badge, but it's still good. And when it's used often enough that you're like, man, this badge is really good. But it's sometimes you use it and it's not as efficient as badges in S tier. And anything in S tier is usually omega efficient. And it kind of just goes down from there. I would say C is when you start entering real filler territory, and then it's filler, super niche, don't equip. I want to also preface that you can build around any badge in these tiers, but Like, obviously, some of them are going to be super unique or niche uses. Like, you're not going to find it anywhere else, and it's for a specific thing that you can only achieve with this badge or something. And it's like a one boss kind of thing usually, if they're down here. Sorry for the lengthy preface, but I like to get that out of the way because a lot of people, they're going to come into this tier list and they're going to be like, how can you rate this? Like, it's so good when I'm playing, and it's like, that, like, I'm just trying to get you in the headspace. This is challenge running. This is efficiency in strategies. It's not just about convenience. It's not like you've got 50 HP, 50 FP, and you can burn whatever you want on moves and stuff. Like, you gotta think about, like, just think about like the various challenges, and I'll talk about them as I go through the badges, as we usually do when I do these lists. Okay, I think with that, I think we can start, right? Okay. I'm just going to go through all of these lists. I'm just going to go top to bottom. So let's start with Close Call. I'll just put him in C tier for now. Close Call, 1 BP, 33% evasion. I'm going to be in Paper Mario 64. It's difficult to get to peril or danger super quickly unless, 1, you have 10 HP, and 2, you're fighting like a big damage boss. Like, we're talking late game stuff here, right? Like, just think about this for a second. I'll use who am I gonna use? Lava Piranha is a great example. Maybe Big Lantern Ghost is a great example. Big Lantern Ghost is a pretty meaty mini boss. And he deals like 4 damage, right? 4 damage? Am I tripping? The point is, it's taking you a couple turns to get into peril. Tubba Heart takes you a little bit because, like, you need his charge attack just outright KOs you at at 10. If you have 15, you know, you're at 3 if you don't guard, which is not peril. So even like, you know, Master 1 takes 2 turns to get into peril before you can really start dishing damage. Like, the point is, when you're crafting strategies in Paper Mario 64, taking damage is a big part of that. And a lot of the times, you're actually in danger and then taking another hit to get to peril because the bosses aren't dealing enough damage, or you have Last Stand to take an 8 damage hit to a 4 damage hit or something. You know what I'm saying? So, Close Call, when it comes to crafting strategies, is not good. It's really not good. However, evasion, if you're going for an evasion build, I mean, it's not bad. It's not terrible. But Lackluster does literally beat out all the BP you need for luck, and you don't even need to be in danger for it. I feel like if you're actually going to go evasion, you should just go Lackluster. Now, Lackluster does come in Chapter 6, so you have a long time before you actually get that kind of evasion. But you don't even get Lucky Day until after Chapter 7. So you're only sitting on the Close Call and Pretty Lucky, so I don't know. I think Close Call on its own is actually okay. It's definitely the best luck badge in the game. I think C is probably pretty good for it, actually. You're never gonna build around this badge unless you're like really going for like crazy evasion and you don't have the FP to front a bunch of Cloud 9s, or you don't need attack power or something, or you're like not attacking with Mario, or he's just really weak because you're going max defense without any attack investment. But I think at the end of the day, if you got 1 BP left in your strat, like thinking about like Final Bowser or Crystal King even, um, it's not bad to have in case you mess something up. It could save you. Um, yeah, I think C is fine. Oh, I guess you know what? While we're here, I need to talk about something else. The way I play this game now, I don't just go into a boss unless it's like a challenge that I'm not like super concerned about. I don't go into bosses, just equip a bunch of badges and do the boss and then just fight normally. I usually plan ahead, like 3 or 4 turns, or have like a strategy, an actual like turn-by-turn strategy in mind. That greatly affects how I view some of these badges. Like Close Call is a much better fly by the seat of your pants badge, and it's a absolutely atrocious turn-by-turn planner badge. So I am gonna try to balance those two out when I tier these, because I don't just want to like leave fly by the seat of your pants players in the dust, because it's not like it's terrible to do that. It's just not the way I play. So I think C is great here. It's great filler, probably some of the best filler. If you're not worried about, like, if you can somehow get to peril, not in danger, like from not danger to peril, this is a great filler badge. Whew, that's a lot of talking. I'm sorry. I got a lot to talk about. Okay, D down jump. D down jump has literally one use, and that's Final Bowser. Now, in BP only, I actually did use D down jump against, I think it was Crystal King actually, to achieve this really specific doing 10 damage a turn thing that I did with him. And the first turn, I had to get into danger. But I had enough power stacked that I would do danger level damage with the down jump. So any boss with two defense, which is not many bosses, by the way. The down jump is essentially an FP cost for danger if you're not in danger. So it's power rush that cost FP in a jump. That's what it is. I think for me, it's got to be, I think D down jump. If you have 1 defense or 0 defense, D down jump is literally useless. I think it's 3 FP, so it's not terrible FP cost, but 2 FP, like, even you need 1 flower saver to make that FP cost like not atrocious. I don't know. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. Well, is it really not terrible? I think it's pretty unnecessary. I wouldn't call it bad, but it's pretty unnecessary. So, for me, E tier. Like, again, you're barely using this badge. Like, it's really just Final Bowser. And I'm serious when I say there's not many bosses in the game that have like more than 2 defense. You know, interestingly enough, I didn't use this against Ken C. Koopa. That would have been an interesting use of this badge. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I think it yeah, like you can build around this. It's really, again, Final Bowser is like a key is the key demographic for this badge, because it's okay on general guy. It really depends on how much damage. I think he has. I mean, it is okay, yeah. The problem with general guy is that you have all this other stuff to get through to get to that point, and sometimes you just like don't need it. There's a lot of stuff to get through. Is General Guy enough to push it over the edge, though? General Guy, Kenshi Koopa, Crystal King. No, I think Power Bounce is probably better against General Guy than D-Down Jump. I'd rather be using Power Bounce, probably. I'm keeping it in E. I'm keeping it in E. D-Down Pound, on the other hand, this badge is trash. This badge, I think this badge is more FP than Power Smash for what, again, what Power Smash basically does, which is +2, like, on 2 defense enemies. This is great. There's not a lot of enemies with more than 2 defense in Paper Mario, and it's a hammer, which makes it worse by proxy, because hammer only goes so far in this game. And if you're gonna use, like, if you're gonna use a hammer move for HP drain or something, or like exact damage, you're probably better off using Power Smash, because most of the time the bosses don't have defense. So Power Smash gets you more value for less FP. Like, I can't stress that enough. I'm pretty sure it's more FP. Like, I'm pretty sure both of these are 3, and Power Smash and Power Jump are 2, which poor D-Down badges. Okay, damage dodge. Okay, this is a badge. Some of these badges are going to be some wild stuff. I'm shaking things up. Okay, so damage dodge is 3 BP. Oh, are these more BP than Power Smash and Power Jump 2? I think they are. Are they? Wait. Am I crazy right now? D-Down Pound. Oh, it's only 2 FP. Okay, never mind. But it's 2 badge points. Got it. They cost more BP. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Well, that's a little better, but I mean, the fact that they're like basically the same badges, the fact that D-Down Pound and Power Smash are basically the same badge, but one costs more BP, just makes D-Down Pound like completely inferior. I should probably keep this up. Okay, yeah. I didn't realize they were 2. Well, that makes D-Down Jump. Oh, does that enough to put D-Down Jump into D tier? I don't think so. I'm still barely using it. Okay. Okay, so damage dodge. Damage dodge is 3 BP. When you guard, you take 1 extra... You take 1 less damage. Damage dodge is really good in this game because the way Last Stand works is damage dodge actually comes after Last Stand has damage. So you only need to get Last Stand to deal 3 damage to you with 2 damage dodges to take no damage. It's insane. There's lots of ways to do that. Danger Mario is a defensive powerhouse in this game. So it's pretty great. Also, damage dodge is a great way to... damage dodge combined with a defend plus is a great way to manipulate a lot of attacks, especially if there's multiples of attacks. For example, Anti-Guy is a great example of this. With defend plus and 1 damage dodge, you can take 9 from both his tackle and his acrobatics move, which is great, because that's turn 1 peril, right? Yo, Jaren, thank you for... how many months? Holy shit, 55 months! God damn, thank you so much, Jaren. Also, I don't know if I said, hey, Archer, but what's up? So, yeah, damage dodge, you hear that and you're like, damn, damage dodge is freaking amazing. And I agree. My big issue, it's not even a big issue. An issue with damage dodge is that chill out exists, and sometimes damage dodge just isn't necessary. I was curious, so I kind of went through all the badges I used in BP only, right? And I think you'd be surprised how little I used damage dodge. Like under half of my strategies had a damage dodge in it. Which is kind of insane. I think the thing is with like early game, damage dodge is less useful because enemies do so little damage. Middle of the road, it's like it really depends on the boss, I guess, and what they're doing. Like sometimes you just don't need it. Once you get chill out, sometimes chill out is all you need. A lot of the times you're not guarding at all. Like sometimes you need to not guard to get the damage you need to get into peril or danger more quickly, right? Like it's damage dodge means you need to be guarding. Now, obviously, again, if you combine it with Defend Plus, you can get the you don't need to guard for certain attacks and guard for others. But that's kind of, you know, and sometimes you can like guard one attack and not guard others with a damage dodge. But it's not like the end all be all for defense. And never in BP only or any other challenge run, I feel like that I've played so far, do I truly need to like live multiple turns of 0 damage with a 3 like from last stand or something. Like it's not like I needed to have both damage dodges equipped to take no damage in danger with last stand. So I think damage dodge is really good, but you're not building strategies with damage dodge in mind most of the time. It's a supplement to what you're really trying to do most of the time. Like, don't get me wrong, damage dodge is incredibly powerful, but I don't think it's used ubiquitously enough for me to put it in S. So for me, I think it's A. And like I said before, A is like, these badges are super good, but they're just like, they're missing something that puts them in the S. I think damage dodge is amazing. I just don't think it's used enough. And it's like, yeah, you can stop all your damage in danger, but like, sometimes you don't want to stop all your damage in danger so you can get into peril and deal massive damage. Like, sometimes you don't want to guard. And that makes damage dodge useless. Sometimes. Not every enemy is like Anti-Guy, where having a damage dodge and a defend plus is really great. You know, this is great for final Bowser too. But you know, it's just like, nah, it's missing something. Okay, deep focus. So star powers in this game. If you've played both games, you know that special moves are insane in Thousand Year Door. It's so easy to spam them because of stylish moves. It is not easy to spam in this game. However, if you're optimizing your strategies and you're like going for quick turn KOs or you know anything like that, you are excuse me. You're probably taking, I don't know, like 4 to 6 turns on average. I would say, yeah, 4 to 6 turns on average. You know, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. Depends on how far you are in the game and your setup and all that. It takes 8 turns to passively fill up 1 bar of star energy. And focus restores by 0.5. This does like 0.125 or something. I don't know the exact value, but I'm telling you right now, in no world in vanilla Paper Mario do you actually need to be sitting there spamming, like, you don't need to use chill out 4 times. Like, so let's think about this. When you first get chill out, you have 4 SE. star energy, you can use chill out twice. And that's across 8 turns, by the way, because chill out lasts 4 turns. Once you get your 6th star spirit, you can use it 3 times, and that's 12 turns. And when you have 5, you can do the same thing, actually, because during the 8 turns of the first 2, you get your 3rd one for 12 turns. So just think about that for a moment. That's without any focusing whatsoever. Now, obviously, sometimes you need to refresh, maybe sometimes you're using Lullaby or Timeout. But if you're using Timeout or Lullaby, you're probably only using it once or twice. And Timeout, you already have 6 SE at that point. You do not need more. And Lullaby is only 1 SE, so it's like, you can use it twice once you get it. So, you really, like... And then there's Starstorm, where Starstorm is in a weird category of... It's more like an item that costs SE to use. So it's like, you don't really need... Unless you need to hit... Like, if you're trying to go for, like, exact damage or something, and you're trying to hit 7 damage, you're probably not using Starstorm otherwise, you know? You'll probably just... I'd rather use an item at that point, right? So, like, if you need 1 less, or 2 less, or hell, even 3 less, like, you can just use a different item instead of Starstorm, right? So, Deep Focus, I just don't think you need to equip Deep Focus ever. Like, you just don't need it, man. You don't need it. And the thing is, when you're, like, if you're doing level 0, you can't use, like, you're going to use Focus because you need the star energy, but you can't even equip Deep Focus at that point. I just feel like... I'm trying to think of a challenge. Like, unless you're really specifically trying to just use, like, star powers, like, that is the only time you'd use this badge, but that's a really specific challenge, and it's, like, one challenge. Like, it's forcing you to use star energy more, right? It's like, I just don't feel like you're getting... It's not enough to warrant equipping this, when if your strategy lasts at least 8 turns, you can get another bar for free, and usually that's enough to, like, do whatever you're doing. I would say. So, it's not required in the slightest. I would never equip this badge. It's cool that you can equip 3 of them and do a LOL focus where you get, like, almost 2 bars of star energy filled, but it's just not necessary. Ever. Okay, Defend Plus. I gotta tell you, Defend Plus would be so much better if you didn't have a 30 BP cap, but here we are. I still think Defend Plus is really good. Defend Plus, I want to be really clear about this. Defend Plus is not filler. It can't be. When you're using Defend Plus, you're using it with purpose. You have 1 Defend Plus. That's it, just 1. You're using it with purpose. You have a specific reason you are using Defend Plus if you're using it. It's not filler. Or are you saying filler in PM64 is like a joke? Also, what up? Did you start? Yes, there is. Close Call is filler. Come on, man. Unless you want me to put Close Call in F. It's filler, for sure. Anyway, Defend Plus, though, not filler. It's not necessary. Well, we'll see after I need to... Right now it's in C, but, you know, I gotta go over the list after I'm done with all of it. Okay, so Defend Plus, again. Defend Plus, I was talking about damage dodge. It supplements how you're trying to get into danger or peril. So, you know... It also is great for times where where you want to take... Defend Plus is great when you don't need to guard something, but you still need to take a little less damage to hit a certain HP point to then guard or not guard, and then you can also guard with Defend Plus to get the effects of damage dodge without actually having damage dodge equipped. But still retain the 1 defense. Like, if you need to take 2 less than 1 less from an enemy, you can do that with Defend Plus only. You can't do that with just damage dodge. You need Defend Plus so that you guard with it first turn, then take the damage second turn, for example. And then it's just 2 less from the guard, 1 less with the Defend Plus. So the 6 BP cost is really hefty, but generally speaking, you're probably going to be fine without it. I mean, you're going to be fine with it, because usually, if you need it, it's like... I mean, I don't know. 6 BP is a lot. That really knocks it down, but I don't think the 6 BP knocks it down to, like, C or anything, and it was never going to be A, so I think it's B. I think Defend Plus is, like, in that area where, like, you're not going to use it a lot, but when you use it, it's good. Like, it's always a solid pick when you're using it, because you need the defense if you're going to use it. And sometimes it's better to use Defend Plus than damage dodge. Like, sometimes you'll have a strat where you only use Defend Plus, no damage dodge at all. But that's not all the time, and sometimes enemies deal damage when you're in danger with Last Stand On, where the Defend Plus does literally nothing for you because of the rounding down. So, for example, if an enemy deals 9 damage to you in danger, you take 4 with Last Stand. If an enemy with Defend Plus, that goes down to 8, and you still deal 4. It does literally nothing, so it's like not worth it to have. You know what I'm saying. So yeah. Whereas damage dodge is always impactful with Last Stand in danger because it comes after Last Stand's calc. So it's like, you know. I think B is great for Defend Plus. This is Dizzy Attack, right? Yes, this is Dizzy Attack. Okay. So this is tough for me to rank personally because I don't... Dizzy Attack is one of those badges that's great for normal battles, but it's like, obviously, it's completely worthless in boss fights and most forced battle fights. I think the guaranteed... How much BP? I'm pretty sure it's 1. I'm pretty sure it's 1 BP. JD Aster can definitely confirm. I'm pretty sure it's 1 BP. It's 2? Really? Okay, well, I didn't use Dizzy Attack in my BP only run at all. I was trying to avoid EXPs, so that's my fault though. I think Dizzy Attack is probably C tier. I'm gonna be honest. If you're thinking about filler that I would put on just like going through a dungeon or something, I feel like... Oh, to avoid EXP? Oh man, I just used Dodge Master. And Fright Jars. But yeah, I think Dizzy Attack is good if you're trying to like get a leg up on normal battles. Dizzy Attack is great. So I feel like I'm not going to ignore that aspect. I feel like C tier is a great place for Dizzy Attack. A lot of enemies, even like Amazy Daisies, are actually susceptible to Dizzy Attack. So you just kind of... You either get a really easy runaway or an incapacitated front enemy where you can take out someone in the back that's more dangerous or something. It's not terrible. Especially if you're fighting those normal fights, you know? One guaranteed turn of Dizzy is not bad. Especially in those like 3 or 4 loadout fights. So I feel like C is good. Sounds good, JD Aster. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I think this is good for Dizzy Attack. Okay, Dizzy Stomp. Hey, we're getting into the status boots finally. Okay, so Dizzy Stomp is an interesting... I know for a fact Dizzy Stomp is 2 FP. Right? It's gotta be. I just used these. I literally just used these badges. I'm like, oh, just give me the list of 64 badges, please. I just need it up while I'm doing this, huh? Like, Jesus. Yeah, it's 1 BP, 2 FP. It's not bad. So, the issue with most jump status badges is that it costs FP when you could inflict the status anyway. Now, sometimes you want to inflict the status and deal damage, so it's good there. It's great against certain enemies, like all the bloopers, Junior Troopa, when he's in the air. Any aerial enemy, basically, Dizzy Stomp is good against. But it's not like... I think Dizzy Stomp is in the same league of... Well, I guess it's a little better than D-Down Jump. Because I feel like you... Well, I don't know. You use it against... Who am I really using Dizzy Stomp against, though? The thing is, for the status stomps, you're using it, like, once. You're usually not using it multiple times in a planned strategy, like the way I do it. Obviously, you could just run into Super Blooper or Electro Blooper, spam Dizzy Jump, like, 3 times, and just win. Like, take 1 hit from them. You know, it's like, you could just spam it and it's fine, but it's like, you don't need to, because usually they're dizzy for like, or status for like 2 to 3 or 4 turns. I just don't know if I can put this... I feel like, I don't know if I can put this in... It's between D and E for me right now. I just don't know if I can put it in E, can I? Actually, kind of feeling like maybe I can? If I'm thinking about all the enemies, all the bosses that Dizzy Stomp works against, it's like not a ton. It's not like you're using it for a bunch of stuff, right? It's like the bloopers and Junior Troopa, you know? And maybe Kenshi Koopa. Well, no, you're never using any Kenshi Koopa. Maybe, no, not Bowser, because you'd rather use a stopwatch or timeout. Okay, I'm putting it in E. It's similar to D-Down Jump in that you can craft specific strategies around it for like a few bosses, and that's it. You got nothing else. One thing that Dupless, I just read it from Dupless in chat that I didn't mention, is that, yeah, Dizzy Stomp also has this weird thing where it can be like replaced by an item. Like, you don't even need it sometimes. You can save the BP and the FP by just using a Dizzy Dial. So, yeah. I think that's... Yeah, that's another knock for it, for sure. Because items are easy clap to use and get. Okay, Dodge Master. Dodge Master, I'm already telling you right now, Dodge Master is going to stay right here in C. Dodge Master is a really interesting badge. I think it's one of the most interesting badges in 64. Because in Paper Mario 64, Dodge Master affects both offensive and defensive action commands. So not only do you get to guard more, but you actually have a higher chance of hitting your action commands. What you may not have known is that it also increases the chance of you getting another power bounce hit. So, in 64, there's a great article by JD Aster. I would just type in JD Aster Power Bounce Paper Mario in Google and check out, like, one of the articles has to be about power bounce caps. He goes over 64 and TTYDs. I highly recommend it. It's a great read. It's got some really useful info. But to summarize really quickly, enemies, when you hit an enemy with power bounce, every time you hit, the chance of you hitting the next hit goes down. For some enemies, it goes down by a lot. For some enemies, it goes down by a little. With Dodge Master, it goes down less. So you have a higher chance of hitting that next power bounce hits. So Dodge Master can make the chance of getting a 4 cap or a 5 cap versus 1 lower guaranteed. So like it could be that you fight Master 2, right? You power bounce, and the 4th hit, there's a chance for you to get locked out, and like you just can't do your 5th one. With Dodge Master on, it's guaranteed you get that 4th bounce. You get that extra 5th bounce of damage always. Like that's the utility that Dodge Master can provide. So it's interesting because sometimes you don't need it at all. Sometimes you don't need it, but you want the 100% chance, and sometimes you need it just to make a power bounce, like the chance of getting that extra bounce, go from like 30% to like 60%. So you just have a better chance of RNG working in your favor. So I think here in C, it's perfect. I don't know. Maybe it should be B though. The thing is, Dodge Master, as far as blocking, whatever. Like, I never use it to guard attacks. Like, that's whatever. It's more about what the utility of power bounces. I think it's got to stay in C. Because you don't need it for a lot of enemies. Some enemies, like, for a lot of strats, I would, like, put in parentheses, extra BP with Dodge Master equipped for greater chance of this. But sometimes when I recorded those strats for BP only, I didn't use Dodge Master. Even though it was like a chance of being capped, I just dealt with it. And it was fine, it still worked out. Sometimes it took 1 or 2 attempts, whatever. Especially if it's like a 3 or 4 turn strat where it's like, just takes a super short time to get back there. Yeah. I think C is perfect. Yo, what up, Krog? Thank you, man. I think C is perfect. Again, definitely check out that article by JD Aster. It's really interesting. And it's like, it's so good for Dodge Master. It's good. That's basically what it's good for, is power bounce. If it worked on Goombarios, Buggy, Multibonk, that'd be even better. But it doesn't, unfortunately. Okay, double dip. This is an okay, so my opinion on this badge has changed drastically. You would think that 10 items, like, think about this for a second, right? 10 items is like, if you have 6 shooting stars, 10 shooting stars, that's 60 damage, or 10 egg missiles. That's 60 damage to an enemy, right? Like, you can't even beat some enemies with that. But it's like, you can front load so much damage on like enemies with defense that would require you to deal, like, to be in peril or danger to achieve, and out the gate you can slam them with high damage, right? Like, double dip is kind of insane in that way. I will say that if you look at like BP only, double dip gets worse, because this is really what I use double dip. I tried to use double dip a lot in BP only, because I used it like once and I was like, oh man, I feel like I can do so much more with this. Like, what can I get away with? It was tough. If you're not running BP only and you have 10 FP, I feel like this badge gets not like infinitely better, but a definite glow up because you can use it a little more. There's a bug with double dip where if you don't have the required FP, even with flower savers on, you can't use it. So it costs 3 FP to use double dip. If you have 2 flower savers on and 2 FP, you can't use double dip, even though it technically costs 1 FP, because it's not at 3. You don't have the max it needs. That's a knock on it. But, like, again, if you have 10 FP, is not a big deal. The fact that by Chapter 4 you can get egg missiles and just smash enemies with egg missiles, shooting stars, you can heal yourself and your FP while you're doing it to deal damage, like, it's insane. You could fire off an egg missile, heal yourself, and that's still more damage than what you're going to do anyway. And it's no FP if you heal. You know? Like, I had some really cool double dip strategies in that BP only run. There's some wild stuff. The only thing is that, like, I mean, this is a BP only thing, but like you need Flower Saver for it. So, most of the time you need Flower Saver. So, I think double dip is a badge that you can build a strategy around 1000%. Like, I think double dip is S tier. And I would use. I think I rated it like B tier or something last time. But like, no joke, the amount of stuff you can do with egg missiles and thunder rages, you can double dip your status stuff. Like, just you can do so much with this badge. And even if it's not the core, it's like it's like you can drop 2 shooting stars and deal 12 AoE like nothing. And Mario cannot do that without double dip. Like, with max attack, well, I don't know, with max attack, let me see. Assuming Mario has Ultra Boots, 3, that's 3, plus the 2 power pluses, that's 5, plus all or nothing, is 6, plus P up D down, is 7, plus Mega Rush is 11. Mario cannot deal 12 damage with multi-bounce without double dipping a shooting star. And you know how much BP Mario needs to get that amount of damage with multi-bounce? Like, he needs so much. And you know how much double dip is? 1. It's 1 fucking BP. It's insane. It's insane. 1 BP for the amount of stuff that double dip can do for you in this game. Like, it's may not be like, I don't know, maybe it may not be as good as TTYD's double dip, but it's still hella good in 64. Like, my eyes have been open. Double dip is easily top tier in this game. It's wild. And like, again, I was running an unoptimal version, and VP only is bad for double dip. Any challenge where you can use double dip without that kind of restriction, whoo, you can do whatever you want. Like, so much BP I had to sacrifice for power. I just sacrificed so much BP on Flower Savers like, instead of going for more power or something. Like, I worked with what I had, but like, I feel like I could have done more. I feel like there's more out there for double dip. If you have not used double dip a lot, I think you should try it next time. You get it super early too. It's insane. Okay, feeling fine. Alrighty, feeling fine. Feeling fine. 1 HP challenge? No, it's like just challenges in general. 1 HP challenge. Okay, so feeling fine. It blocks you from all statuses. You can't be statused even by freeze. Wait, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Wait, is that wrong? No, that's not wrong. I keep mixing it up. Feeling fine is only good if you need to not guard to hit certain damage, like HP breakpoints. And yeah, it can't protect from freeze. Sorry, I just read that in chat. Feeling fine if you need to take, let's say you need to be hit by Crystal King's Ice Bolt, or for whatever reason Bowser's Claw, right? And you need to not guard it to hit certain damage breakpoints. That's what feeling fine is for. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, unblocked enemies just don't deal status, so this badge is almost worthless. I'm putting this in F tier, but do know that I did actually use this badge in BP only. I did. Yep. But if this, just to be clear, even though these badges aren't F tier, it doesn't mean you don't need to equip them, and it doesn't mean that there's not like some wacko strategy out there, that might use these. Like, again, I used Feeling Fine, but I don't think that one specific strategy against Crystal King is enough to put Feeling Fine in E tier. It's bad. Do not equip it. You don't need it. Block your attacks. And even then, most attacks don't status you for not blocking, so it doesn't matter. Alright, Fire Shield. Fire Shield is E tier. I'm already putting it in E because I already know what it's used for. It's used for two things. It's used for Lava Piranha, used for Final Bowser. Boom. You don't need Fire Shield for anything else. Fire Shield is infinitely better Defend Plus because it's more cost effective against fire attacks. That's it. That's all it's good for. All of Lava Piranha's attacks are fire, so you're covered there. It protects against Flame Breath only for Final Bowser, but you can craft a loop around that, so this is where it goes. It's 2 BP. It's great for when it's good, it's great, but it's only great for 2 bosses. It's useless otherwise. And no, it is not good for jumping on fire enemies when ice power is right there. So okay, Flower Finder. I never used this badge in BP only. Again, I was dodging a lot of enemies to keep my level low so I wouldn't have to level up FP and just not use it. I wanted to keep my 10-5 stats. But I'm not going to knock Flower Finder when it's like literally some of the best filler in 64. If you're fighting normal battles... Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. Fire Shield lets you do that. Flower Finder is great for normal battles because you can spam your FP moves and get some FP back. I actually think I'm going to put this into B tier because it's really good for that kind of stuff. If you are running a challenge where you can equip Flower Finder and you can spam FP moves, like, this thing is great. Because you can spam those FP moves, get a bunch of FP back, and just keep going. So, yeah, that's kind of what it just increases your chances of getting flowers after battle. You might think, Kappy, maybe this is NA. I disagree. If we're ranking this in TTYD, we're ranking this in 64 too. And it's obviously not as good as TTYD's in that like context, but I think in the context of 64, it's still like good. You know? Like, it's a solid badge. Normally I wouldn't put filler in B tier, but I think Flower Finder is good enough to deserve that, only because, like, seriously, you could like just spam FP moves and you're gonna feel like you don't really need to go and recover your FP or anything most of the time, unless you're spamming like Mega Bomb and Tidal Wave and other high FP moves all the time, which I'm sure you're not all the time, you know. But if you're saying like Multi Bounce, Power Shell, Squirt, Bomb, etc., like, you're probably fine, you know. It's good. Flower Saver. Okay, this badge. Remove the ad? Can I even remove it? Oh, there's a little X here. Oh, sick. I didn't even think I could remove it. Dope. That was kind of annoying me too. Okay, so Flower Saver is another 6 BP behemoth, and you get 2 of them. So it's like, oh my god, dude, 12 BP for 2 FP saved on Mario and Partners seems good, and it is good, but I don't think it's like... The question is it A tier good? The thing is, I'm not going to put my BP only bias in because it is almost essential in BP only to get like stuff going. Like, I feel like just one level up in FP, literally 10 FP, reduces so much of Flower Saver's usefulness that I think it's got to be B tier. Like in almost every other challenge. No, it's 6 BP, bro. 6 BP. I'm feeling like almost every other challenge where you can level up FP, you probably don't need Flower Saver. Like, it's just not necessary. And that's not to say, like, sometimes it will be, obviously. Sometimes you need both, even with 10 FP, but, like, I just feel like this is the way to go. In BP only, it's like S tier. You need it so much, bro. But that's not, I can't just put it in S tier because of BP only. Like, that's not fair. But B tier, Like, and I just think A tier is not enough because it's not like you're building around the S tier badges. And while it is like on, I feel like it might be on that level of damage dodge. I feel like if you level up FP even once, you just don't need Flower Saver as much as you'd think. Like, even 10 FP is enough to pull out, like, to do some stuff. And like, yeah, I mean, it's insane. Right, it's like, how many attacks are you actually going to... How many attacks are you actually going to save? Like, if you're using less than... If you use less than 5 FP attacks, FP Plus is actually better than Flower Saver. It's more cost effective, which is crazy to think about. Am I ever going to do another PM64 randomizer? Of course I am. I'll be doing a lot of randomizers. I love that. I love that mod. So I think B tier is a solid choice. If someone put this in A tier, I would not be like, oh, that's wrong. Like, I could see it. But I just feel like, based on what I know from BP only, I just think even with just one level up, I felt like I wouldn't have needed Flower Saver nearly as much. Okay, speaking of FP Plus. Now, FP Plus is a really interesting badge. It trades 3 BP for a level up in FP, basically. I wouldn't think of it like that as much, though, because unlike TTYD, where you have so much BP that you can essentially slot in a level up, right? I feel like for this, you're comparing it against Flower Saver, because again, strats are not super long, and sometimes they don't require a lot of FP. Sometimes, like, there are a lot of strats where I could have used an FP plus over Flower Saver, but I was locked to 5 FP because of my, like, you know, my restrictions. I didn't want to put on HP or FP plus, so I had to use Flower Saver. But again, FP plus, I feel like FP plus is like, yes, exactly, Dupless. It's how long a fight lasts, and it depends on how many FP moves you're using too, and how much they cost. Because if you have a 2 FP move and you put on FP plus instead of Flower Saver, like, Flower Saver is better in that regard because you're saving 5 like, you're saving way more FP. Like, especially if you're using other FP moves. Like, it really depends on how much that stuff costs. But if you're using other, like, I don't know. If you're using high FP moves, I feel like Flower Saver is not, like, crazy unless you're, you know, again, stuck at 5 FP. However, I don't think FP Plus can go above. Like, it's not like I'm using FP Plus, and I don't think I'd be using FP Plus enough to, like, build off of strategies with it. I think it's in the same, like, they're kind of competing with each other, and I feel like they're in the same place. Like, they're both B tier for me. Like, these are, like, definitely very supportive. You're not going into a strat being like, okay, I need 10 FP. It's like, no, I need a little more FP because Flower Saver won't work, or I don't have the BP for Flower Saver, so maybe I'll use FP Plus to get the FP I need for this strat to work. Something more along those lines than like, oh yeah, I need 10 FP or 15 FP for this, you know what I'm saying? Okay, group focus. I think you guys already know where this is going, probably. Thank you for the 1-bit, Krog. So, group focus is more useful than deep focus, because sometimes you don't need to do anything with a partner. Maybe. I don't know. Question mark? Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I take it all back. It sucks. I take it all back. There's no reason to use it. Again, you don't need to focus with your partner. Just do the damage with the partner. Like, maybe there's some times where it's like, oh, but Kappy, What if your partner's doing nothing? You could focus. Well, do you actually need that star energy? No, you don't. You don't. That's just the way it is. You don't. Alright, let's move on. Hammer throw. Yeah. Hammer throw sucks. It's hammer. It's literally worse power jump. I want to talk about this really quick. Power jump is hammer in the air. That's what power jump is. Power jump is aerial hammer with more damage on it than hammer throw. Let that sink in for a moment. Then realize that hammer throw is just bad. You never need this. You know what? I used this for one strat, and I did it because I needed to deal hammer damage and not hammer plus 2 damage. Or whatever, you know? Like, it was more like for fun, being cheeky, than like actual use. So, hammer throw sucks. You're not gonna ever need it. It's bad. Even with that stupid Monty Mole thing in Flower Fields, with hammer throw being like deals more damage, it's not enough to matter. It's still trash. Just use Power Quake or Mega Quake, please. Alrighty, we're getting into some real filler here. We have Happy Flower. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. I think Happy Flower is definitely C tier. The big problem with Happy Flower is it's 3 BP. 3 BP for like a chance at 1 FP per turn. Oh, it's just, if it were 1 less BP, I think I would put this in B tier, honestly. Because it can definitely save you. It could be the difference, again, between equipping an extra flower saver or not. It's great filler. Some of the best in-battle filler Mario has, if you have the BP for it. And sometimes you need a strat where you're like, okay, I need Happy Flower to proc once, right? Like, you just need to proc once and the whole strat works, and it's like a 4-turn strat. That's not bad odds to get at least 1 FP, you know? It's not bad. I did that a lot in Master Quest. Not that this is a Master Quest list, but I'm just like, the idea of that, like, I need 1 FP proc once in this entire 4 or 5 turn strat is still valid here. Honestly, I probably could have used this more in my BP only. I just wanted to showcase more like 100%, not a lot of RNG if I could. But this is a perfectly viable choice for filler, or to round out some kind of low FP 10, like low 5 FP strat. You know, up to you, you know. But it's definitely outclassed by Flower Saver and FP Plus. Happy Heart, on the other hand, is absolute trash. Never equipped this badge. Why would you ruin Peril or Danger? It makes no sense to me. Why would you do that? Why would you be at 1 HP, get a Happy Heart proc, and lose your Mega Rush? What? No. Stop. Stop it. Get some help. Don't equip this badge. I'm sorry. Heart Finder. Okay. Heart Finder. I think Heart Finder is okay-ish. I feel like if you're going for some kind of like danger strats on the overworld, you probably don't need this badge, but it could be nice to like, you take a little bit of damage during a fight, maybe. Like, you multi-bounce in 2 turns and take a little damage, and then you Heart Finder your way back to 5 HP. That's not a bad idea. You could definitely do that to maintain your peril. You just gotta be careful they don't go over, right? And that's a you problem, that's not the badge's problem. So, I would say, like, I can't really think of anything else for this badge, you know? It's Heart Finder, so I feel like D tier is a great... I feel like you can get more use, like, definitely in the overworld, you can get, like, some pretty sizable use out of this if you're just running danger. Like, just Power Rush. Not Mega Rush, obviously. Yeah. And I feel like Mega Rush multi-bouncing in the field is probably worse anyway, unless you're running double damage dodge and last stand, which seems wild when you could just equip this with Power Rush and still two, like, you're probably still 2-rounding with Mega Rush anyway if you're multi-bouncing, right? So, well, I guess it really depends on the chapter. But the later you go, the more Power Rush becomes a little more like appealing for just like a 2-round multi-bounce or Quake Hammer compared to Peril. So I would say, yeah, I think ultimately D tier is a solid choice. Like, that's a good spot for it. Okay, HP drain. So HP drain, a lot of people think is, at least back when we did the Glitz Pit, I'm pretty sure we thought HP drain was one of the best badges in the game. I do not think that anymore. I'm gonna let me be real, okay? I talked about this a lot. This and damage dodge, I needed to test, and I did get my testing, and I think what I thought originally was pretty spot on, question mark? I forgot what I said originally, but I definitely don't think these two badges are S tier anymore. My thing with these badges is something I was talking about in other TTYD, like when JD Aster and I did our TTYD tier list, I mentioned a lot, I'm pretty sure. Like, what badges are necessary, right? What badges are good and necessary? What badges are good but unnecessary? Because that affects the ranking. A badge can be great, but in terms of like me playing, you know, like planning out stuff, what badges are truly necessary for a strat's success? I don't think HP drain is necessary for a lot of things. And I talked about this earlier. Mario needs to be taking damage. A lot of enemies don't do enough damage for Mario to consistently use HP drain. Now, as you get later on, Master 3, Master 2, Anti-Guy Unit, Bowser, you know, even you know, a couple others maybe, like Kenshi Koopa, for example. Those bosses deal a lot of damage, and you can substitute your defensive options for HP drain. It's only 3 BP, it's only 1 less attack power, and if you're looping indefinitely, you're good to go, you know? Now, some bosses, you just don't need it. Either because you're using chill out already, so like you're taking nothing, and then like you don't want to heal out of danger, or out of peril if you can help it, and like sometimes it's harder to get into danger or peril because you have the HP drain on in the first place. So you have to like think about, how am I getting into peril or danger with that HP healing if I'm attacking during it, right? That's where a lot of obviously you can just use items. That's a great way to circumvent it. But the point is, I just don't think you're building, like, HP drain is not the core. You're not, like, sometimes it is. Like sometimes damage dodge is like that crux that makes the strat work for you. But it's not like I'm going to be using HP drain all the time and it's always going to be great and it's always going to be the most efficient. It's not always the most efficient. It's kind of the same thing with quick change in TTYD, where it's amazing and the potential of the badge is great, but you just don't end up using it and it's actually inefficient a lot of the time. So it's like, double dip is efficient. Dealing that much damage out the gate can be more cost effective in BP versus equipping a bunch of power, you know? You're not getting that with HP drain. But I cannot downplay that these two badges are incredible badges. Like, HP drain is amazing, and like, Final Bowser looping would not be a thing without HP drain. But it's not like Final Bowser looping suddenly makes it S tier to me. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, otherwise you'd think, oh yeah, damage dodge should too. But it's like, just because it's part of the Final Bowser loop doesn't mean it's incredible. It's just very effective against the final Bowser loop. And you can also just front load damage against that. You can just front load defense and be fine for final Bowser too. Like, you don't have to loop with HP drain. It's just the most efficient way to KO him quickly. And it takes less blocking. Like, sometimes you don't have to block. So, yeah. 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 So I think these two sit comfortably in the A tier. That's where they'll be. Okay, HP plus. I'm gonna be real with you. This, I would never equip this ever, and here's why. Besides, like, so I actually just did this challenge. What did I do? Jesus, anti-scavenge, right? 15 HP would have been great there, but it's not like, I feel like in most other challenges, it's so hard to get into peril or danger already, and I don't think that HP plus is like, well, yeah, I just feel like going from 15 HP is not always going to help you, as much as you think it might. I just think it's not worth it most of the time. 10 HP is great. Most of the time, you can just slap on a chill out and get to danger anyway. Maybe 15 HP is the difference between, like, not using an item or something, but, like, if you're not using any items already anyway, and you have to slap on an HP plus to not use it, just use the damn item. Like, what, one item? Whatever, dude. Use the item, get to your HP that you need to get to, so you go into peril or danger, and blah, blah, blah. You don't need HP plus. You don't need to get to 15 HP. If you have 15 or 20 HP, you're omega inefficient. You just do not need that much HP ever in Paper Mario. You need 10. You need 10 so that battles can go faster. That's wild to say, but it's true. It's way different from T2ID where you have double pain and you have point swap, so it literally doesn't matter what HP you have. But in this game, it does. I feel, don't equip HP plus. You don't need it. It's wasted 3 BP. Ice Power! Yay! Ice Power plus 2 damage against enemies that are on fire. And it's 3 BP, I think, or something. Well, whatever it is, it's in the same exact spot as Fire Shield. It's good against Embers, Lava Bubbles, and Lava Piranha. That's it. Now, there is this weird thing about, like, how some enemies, I think it's a Kenshi Koopa thing, I can't remember. There's this thing where, like, the ice effect, like, some enemies are good against, well, I don't even know if that's a thing in vanilla. Maybe that's just a thing in mods. I don't know. I wish JD Acer were here for this particular badge. But either way, I don't think it matters. Ice Power is good against so few enemies that it's just like, you don't need it except for those enemies, so it's pretty bad. You know? It's pretty bad. You think the game sometimes gets harder if you have more HP? I don't know if that's true either, though. I think the game gets easier if you have more HP. It's just like, the game gets slower if you have more HP. If you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's just slower. It's like, yeah. So obviously, so here's the thing. Okay, let me be frank. Actually, let me be frank with you for a second. Okay, I'm saying all this stuff about 10 HP. If you have 10 HP in normal fights, you have a risk of getting smashed. Okay, like, I'm just telling you straight up right now. Like, you might get smashed unless you have like 10 or 15 FP and you know how to KO enemies really quickly, or know how to use status, or are good at blocking, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, 10 HP is not like some catch-all. And so, HP plus could be used in the field for that, but I still think 10 HP is fine even in the field. It's not like you're going to die immediately. You can always chill out. You can just one round with Starstorm and something else. Like, there's ways to get around all that stuff. And if you have Last Stand, If you have Last Stand and Defend Plus on, you do not need more than 10 HP. Even against normal enemies, Last Stand is such a wild badge. It just does. We'll get to it when we get there, but it does so much for you. I agree, Dupless, but I don't think that makes the game harder. Like I said, I think it just makes it slower. Like, it's not like you're dying if you have 30 HP, you know? It's not like you're, like, having to try against the boss multiple times because they get tougher. It's just, like, it feels more like a slog. That's wild to say because I love Paper Mario Combat, you know? But it's just, like, it's like, okay, I'm power jumping for the umpteenth time. You know, instead of being like, okay, I'm in peril, we're power bouncing, we're charging up, like it's nothing like fun like that. It's just like, okay, here's my 5th super jump charge, time to kill him with my 12 HP. That's facts, Dupless. That's facts. Anyway, Ice Power. I got on a little tangent about 10 HP there for HP plus, but Ice Power, it's whatever. You really don't need it too much. Jump Charge. Oh, now this a badge, my dudes. This a badge. Jump Charge is one of 2 badges that increase your attack by a lot. Jump Charge is charge. It's a poor man's power rush without being in danger. 1 BP, 1 FP for danger. That's what it is. Without being in danger. However, used with danger, it's even better. Used with peril, it's even better. So, yeah, this badge is actually incredible. The way you can just slot this in, instead of doing 2 super jump charges, you could do super jump charge and jump charge for a little less FP or something. Get rid of a flower saver because of that. Save a bunch of BP because of that. Like, it's crazy. It's really good. Like, I would say that I used this a fair amount. Like, jump charge ain't bad. Like, sure, you don't always need it. Oh, whoops. You don't always need it, but, it's great. Now the question is, do I think it's A tier or B tier? I think it might be B. Like, it's like you don't always need it, but a lot of the times you don't need to charge up your stuff. Like, the +4 is usually enough to, like, deal significant damage. So I think I'm putting this in B? I could see this in A too. If someone put this in A, I would understand, but I think, personally, I think it's a little outclassed by Super Jump Charge. So I would put it in B, because you already know where Super Jump Charge is going. Okay, Last Stand. By the way, I am going to put the S tier badges in order. Last Stand is the best badge in Paper Mario 64, bar none. There's nothing better than this badge. This badge, while early game, you don't need it at all. Later on, it is essential. It is literally all you need sometimes for your defense. Like, literally, it is sometimes all you need. It's 1 BP. You don't need damage dodge. You don't need HP drain. You don't need defense plus. All you need is Last Stand to hit peril in 2 turns. It's crazy. It's crazy. And even then, it is it is there for almost everything. Once you get Last Stand, besides like Lava Piranha, like it's great. It's amazing. It's so good. I think maybe it's not the best badge. Maybe I'm being a little wild about the best badge, but it saves you in so many situations. And again, you just don't really need. You don't need to pack on the defense because of it. You don't need defense plus and 2 damage dodges all the time because of it. You don't need, you don't need chill out all the time because of it. And sometimes chill out with it alone is enough. And that saves you a lot of BP. You know, it's like, it's just so great. And the best part about it is it lets enemies deal their, like, max damage if you don't have defense on. And, like, you can really, like, work your way around the halved damage to get into peril easily. Like, it's just amazing. You really cannot understate the halved damage. And the fact that guard comes after it makes it even better. So it's like, oh, it's so good, man. Think about this, right? Think about this for a second. You have a 7 damage attack. You're at 3 HP, okay? Right? You can either... Well, let's just talk about it for a second. Okay, 7 damage, right? Halved, because last stand rounds down, makes it 3 damage. Because it's 3.5 plus 3.5 that rounds down to 3. Okay. If you guard that 7 damage attack, you're at 4 HP, in danger, don't guard, boom, peril. Okay. You don't guard it, and then you guard the next attack, it goes down to 2. Boom, you're in peril. 7 plus 2 is 9. Like, you could have an 8... You can have a 6 damage attack, not guarded at all. Boom, you're in peril, right? Like, in 2 turns. Like, it's just crazy. And that's without any other defense. If someone has, like, someone's doing 9, 10, 8, you can tack on a damage dodge, a defense plus, just one of them, and get enough to go into peril. If an enemy is doing 9 or 10 damage, right, you can use chill out. You can, and boom, they're, like, if someone's doing 10 damage with chill out, you're at 7. And then boom, you just get into peril in 2 turns after that. Like, it's crazy how much you can do. Like, think about this for a second. Someone does 10 damage to you, right? You chill out with last stand and 2 damage dodges on. You've no, 9 damage. I'm sorry, 9 damage. Someone does 9 damage to you, right? You chill out. They're at 6. You take the 6. You take the half damage turn 2, which is 3. Puts you in peril. And then you guard the next 2. And you have 2 turns of free peril, taking no damage. Like, that's with 2 damage dodges. That's it. Like, and last stand. It's just... Last stand may not be the best badge, but it does so much for you. And it opens up so many different ways to get into peril. Is it useful all the time, though? No. Okay, it's not like well, I mean, most of the time it is useful. There were very few times afterwards where I was like, yeah, I don't really need Last Stand. It was basically there all the time once I had it, and I got past, like, Lava Prana. So, yeah, it's a great badge. One of the... Probably the... okay. Yeah, maybe like the second best badge in the game, to me. Okay, Lucky Day. I'm starting to talk about it. Man, should Last Stand go into A? I just don't think it can go into A. Last Stand is way too good to go into A. Like, it's just so useful. It's only 1 BP. Yeah. I don't know what I'm thinking. Thank you for the 1 bit, Krog. Okay, so Lucky Day. Lucky Day is bad. It's bad. It's 7 B... No, I'm sorry, it's not 7. I'm pretty sure it's 8 BP for a 25% chance to dodge. Like I said before, if you're going for full evasion and you don't have Cloud 9, then sure. But, like, you can just use Lackluster with Cloud9 and do better than all the lucky badges combined and make them obsolete. So, there's literally zero reason if you're going for evasion and you have Cloud9 to not just use Cloud9 unless you have, like, no FP. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's good. It's just, it's better than the lucky badges. Like I said before, the only reason Close Call, which I'm thinking I might be moving down to D, is only as good as it is because it's 1 BP, 33% chance. As some wild lucky filler if you really want that. I think TAS would disagree. You can just use Cloud9. Okay, Mega Jump. Bad. I don't think you really need to talk about this badge. It's like +4 for way more FP. It's just not worth it. You can meme with this badge, but it's not good. You never need this badge. Well, maybe you know what? Maybe that's BP only brain talking. I think I'm gonna put it here. Oh, but the thing is, Mega Smash and Mega Jump are like the same thing, and there's no enemies that you need it for. What enemy would you need Mega Jump for? They're like the same badge. I don't know, man. Now I don't know. Feel like this badge should be F. I think I'm gonna put it in F. I don't know. You do get Mega Smash 1 chapter earlier, but you can't use it on the boss. Oh, man. And then you can use it on, like, every enemy except for the Swooper family enemy in chapter 7. Oh, that's hilarious. You'd think they should just have swapped them or something. Maybe I would have given Mega Smash more credit. Oh, I don't know. I think Mega Jump is trash. I'm sorry. It's bad. I think it's bad. They're like the same badge. Mega Smash and Mega Jump. I think Mega Jump just... I think they're both going to go there, but... Just trying to think of like a strat where I would actually use it. I feel like it's not like... +4 isn't like terrible, but it's like... It's Mega Rush in a badge. For 1 attack. For like 6 FP. Compared to the 2 FP for a Power Rush boost. Yeah, I don't know. It's bad. Okay, this is Mega Quake. Okay. Finally, we're getting to the Quakes. Alright, so the Quake hammers are Hammer's best friend in this game. Because there's no fire drive. Quake Hammer costs the most, but deals the most damage. I think Mega Quake is actually okay. Just trying to think. I think only with Mega Quake can you 1 round. I'm trying to think. It's 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, 4? Am I tripping? Oh, that's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. Where's those badges? Where's Mega Quake? Oh, 6. Oh, I'm sorry. 6 damage. Wow, hold on. What's Power Quake? 4. Oh, it's 2, 4, 6. Oh, okay. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. If you have all 4 power badges on with Power Quake and Mega Rush, you can 1 round White Clubbas in Crystal Palace. I know this is a really wild thing to like use to compare, but I'm just doing it. You just need like 2 power badges and Mega Rush. Or 4 power badges and Power Rush to KO White Clubbas in Crystal Palace. So there's those 3 force fights you have to do, you know? It is a lot more FP though. Pretty sure Power Quake is 4. This is 7. I think... It's tough to say where I would put this, honestly. The thing is, Quake Hammer is not very good against bosses in general. Like, you just usually don't need it. But it's great for the like field enemies and stuff, especially a lot of grounded enemies, which, like, if you look at, like, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, a little bit of Chapter 6, like, there's a lot of grounded enemies. Well, you don't even get Power Quake until Chapter 5, so... Yeah, I mean, Chapter 5, even, too. Besides, like, the embers and lava levels. Yeah. So, it's tough to say where I would put this. I think they both gotta... I feel like... I'm just kind of feeling like they're all samey, with Quake Hammer being a little worse than Power Quake and Mega Quake. Yeah, that would have been cool, Dupless. Man, where do I want to put this? I feel like I use Mega Quake a little more than Power Quake I do these days. I used to think Power Quake was king. And I guess if you're doing Mega Rush on the field, which I'm, like, not a fan of compared to Power Rush usually, then I think Mega Quake has a little bit of the upper hand. So I think I'm putting Mega Quake in C. That's probably where it should go, right? Yeah. I think I'm gonna put Mega Quake in C. Like, it's not bad. Okay, Mega Rush. Here it is. Here it is. The actual best badge in the game. Mega Rush is everything. Mega Rush is what you build most of your stuff around. Everything's about getting into peril. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes just danger, but most of the time peril for bosses. Even on the field, sometimes you can get into peril. Like, even though I just said, like, you can still do it. I would probably still do it sometimes, but I would prefer danger because it's safer. This badge is everything. It's so good. +4 attack. It lets you do everything. It's the reason Power Bounce is so good. It lets you do stuff on the field that's good. It lets you... Even a normal jump is great with this badge. Jump, out of sight jump is a very good strategy. Well, strategy, I guess, like a really good sequence, you know? You can double dip 2 egg missiles, or 4 egg missiles, and then you're in peril, and boom, you've done massive damage. Or you super jump charge with your +4 in peril, and your power bounce is doing like 10 damage suddenly, and you're destroying everything. It's amazing. Getting into peril is it. It's it. Now, there are actually some strategies where I didn't need Mega Rush. Like, not every single strategy ever needs Mega Rush. But, hands down, I use this badge the most. It was... it wasn't even a contest how much I use this badge. Like, if you just watch my BP only video, so many strategies are getting into peril in some fashion and then KOing with massive damage. It's just how it is. And it's how Paper Mario 64 will always be. Now, obviously there are some challenges that don't use badges, or like you're not using Mega Rush, like, whatever. But at the end of the day, if Mega Rush is available, like, it's the most efficient way to KO things most of the time. Especially as you get later and enemies do more damage, it can get you into peril quicker. Like, sometimes Power Rush is more efficient because it takes longer to get into peril than you would like. But, like, if you can get into peril quickly, there's nothing more efficient. Nothing than Mega Rush. And that's just facts. Like you're never beating this badge. It is the best badge in Paper Mario 64 to me. Okay, Mega Smash. Okay, I need to think about these badges for a second. If you're using more than 5 FP max, I feel like you could get away with Mega Smash or Mega Jump, because they're literally the same badge. I'm just trying to think, right? When you get Mega Jump, the only boss that you can actually use it on that's not, like, Mega Smashable is Crystal King in his 3rd phase. Oh, I guess also Junior Troopa. You know what? It doesn't matter. I feel like you get them so late, they kind of suffer for that. I feel like I need to use... I guess I just need to use these 2 badges more. This is a tough one for me, actually. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put... Mega Jump into E. And Mega Smash into F. At the end of the day, Mega Jump and Mega Smash do the exact same thing. They're the exact same damage, but just like Power Jump is better than Power Smash, Mega Jump is better than Mega Smash. Because once you get it, there's only one spiky enemy, and that is Junior Troopa. Everything else, you can do Smash or Jump on. It doesn't matter. I would rather use Mega Jump, probably, because at least then you could use it on the field, too, against any enemy. There's not a lot of... there's a few spiky enemies in Bowser's Castle, but, like... you can just Quake Hammer those, I guess. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to put it. Ultimately... a 6 FP Mega Rush could be okay. Could it be okay, though? 6 FP? You know what? No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I tried. They're like the same badge. I think if someone put Mega Jump into E, I would not question it too much, but I can't do it. I can't put it out of F. Like, it's 6 FP, man. The 6 FP is really getting me right now. It's like, oh, you, like, need more than 10 even to, like, really do something with it. You need a Flower Saver to use it twice. I can't put it into E. I can't do it. Okay. Multi-bounce. Multi-bounce. Is okay. Again, you can use it in the field. You could double multi-bounce with Power Rush. But you can also Quake Hammer. And honestly, unless you're packing a bunch of... like, unless you're packing some attack, multi-bounce is probably worse than, like, an item or Starstorm. Especially in the earlier stages of the game. Like, once you get Ultra Boots, maybe that changes, but, like, you have Super Boots until, like, Chapter 6, you know? Like, holy shit. That means you need, like, 3 attack badges with Super Boots and Power Rush to get the 7 damage that Starstorm does. Just use Starstorm. I think it's D. It's not like it's terrible, right? Like, you can do stuff with it. Again, it's just like, a lot of the times, unless you're, like, trying to flip over 4 Koopas or something, like, just use Starstorm or Quake Hammer. Or one of the Quakes, you know? Because the base of the Quakes goes up. One thing to note about multi-bounce too is that, like, against Koopa Trolls, like, just Quake Hammer. Anything with defense, because the Quakes pierce defense, like, they're definitely better than multi-bounce. So it's just like, the low FP cost of multi-bounce is really good, and it's only 1 BP, but its power is a little lacking. It's not like TTYDs where you can stack a bunch of power and really get going with it. And even then, it's not like rated super highly in TTYD. You know? So it's like, oof. Poor multi-bounce. It's just okay. Okay, P down, D up. Nope. Never equip this badge. It's trash. Never do it. There's no point. There's maybe one time you use it, and it's when you want full defense against Final Bowser. Otherwise, no. There's no reason. Sacrificing your attack for 1 defense is literally inferior in every way to HP drain. Literally inferior in every way to HP drain. There's just no. Or even like defend, or even like damage dodge or something. Like damage dodge is 1 more BP for P up, D down. I mean P down, D up. Never equip this badge. You don't need to. You don't need to sacrifice your attack power for a little defense. Ever. Now, P up, D down, on the other hand. P up, D down is an okay badge. The lack of defense can actually really hurt you. Especially when it comes to Last Stand. Like, Last Stand, like, P up, D down is a difference from going from 9 being 4 to, like, to taking 5 damage in danger, right? Because it goes to 10. It's only 2 BP, but like this badge, I don't know. I actually used it quite a bit. But it was really against Hallway Bowser. Thing is, you get this badge really late in Chapter 7. This is kind of like an all or nothing thing in TTYD for me. It's like you get it. You have Crystal King in all of Chapter 8, and that's great, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not really using it. I'm just, yeah, I don't know. The lack of the defense going away makes guarding kind of worthless. And it actually does. The extra damage can be significant when trying to get into danger. Again, especially where Last Stand is related or concerned. I feel like man, I don't know. Because I use this badge quite a bit. Like, not like, I guess not like all the time once I got it, but it was like, I used it more than a few times. Again, granted, it was all against Final Bowser, but I think ultimately it's not as good as you may think, because even though it's like just 1 defense lost, enemies deal a lot of damage then, and if you're at 10 HP, like that can be pretty significant for a lot of enemies. It really depends on like how strong you are, like, or what setup you're going for. Like if you're doing a super jump charge, power bounce, peril with P up, D down, and you take a hit and someone does 8 and now they do 9 and you're in peril turn 1, like that's pretty damn good. But like if they do 7 or 9 or 10, well I guess 9 doesn't really matter because you can just guard, but Like, if they do 10, it's like, oh, well, now I can't use it. Or, you know, again, it can mess up some last stand stuff, depending on how much damage something does. Like, it can be the difference between, because just like how Defend Plus can be useless when you go from, like, 8 to, when you go from, like, 9 to 8 for last stand, that the same as, the reverse is true for P up, D down being worse. Too. If you go from 9 to 10, you're taking, like, an extra point of damage in danger is a big deal. So, ultimately, I think I'm going to put this in D because it's not like it's terrible, but it's like, and you can definitely use it for some strats. You definitely got to plan ahead. And you got to be really deliberate with how you're using it. You need to use it to try to get into peril earlier and get quick KOs. It's not good for anything more than like 2 or 3 turns, honestly. Because if you're unless the boss has a turn where it's not doing anything. Okay, All or Nothing. All or Nothing is a badge that I love. I love this badge because it's 4 BP. You get it in the middle of the game, and it's literally power plus but cheaper. You just have to hit your action commands. Now, this does pose some issues. Let me be frank. All or Nothing is very good. It's definitely A tier. It's a great power-up badge. But one little situation where it's not great is Power Bounce. Specifically, Power Bounce and Dodge Master. Now, imagine for a moment that you need to get a 4 cap on a boss to beat them. Like you're at enough damage. You just need to get that 4 cap. And the wait, maybe does this situation even hold on. I guess it doesn't really matter. What was I thinking of? Why does this matter? I was gonna say that something like Power Plus means you don't need to use Dodge Master to get an extra bounce. But I don't think that's true because it doesn't matter if you need the same cap anyway. Okay, nope. I'm dumb. There's nothing wrong with this badge. It's just convenience. Basically, you just have to be aware of your caps. So like oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Jesus. There is one situation. It is with Power Bounce. It's with HP Drain. I'm sorry. So, if you don't know, I didn't really talk about it, but with HP Drain, you recover HP for every attack you land up to a max of 5. That means if you get 5 bounces with Power Bounce, you recover 5 HP. Now, a strategy that many have employed is using Power Bounce in Peril, 4 bounces, and you're back at 5 HP. And then you get back to Peril again with a hit with Last Stand, and do it all over again, right? Now, because you have to make sure you get a specific number of bounces, you have to miss the action command on the 4th bounce, no matter what. You can't bounce again. Because if you bounce again, even if you deal no damage on the last hit, you still get the HP. Like, if you jump with HP Drain, and you deal no damage twice, you still recover 2 HP. That's really important. With All or Nothing, when you want to do Power Bounce HP Drain stuff, All or Nothing is a little worse than like Power Plus, because you lose out on that damage. You lose out on that 4th hit of damage every time because you need to make sure you don't go over danger and then die because of it. So That's the only time. That's what I was thinking. I'm sorry. I totally... My brain melted for a second. That's the one issue All or Nothing has. Otherwise, it is amazing. It's your best power-up badge that's not a danger badge or para badge, right? It's your best power-up badge that's not Mega Rush or Power Rush. Like, it's great. And it's 4 BP. So, it's very good. 2 BP less than Power Plus. We take those. Okay, Power Bounce is probably the third best badge in the game. Power Bounce, obviously, as I just explained, you can loop Power Bounce with HP Drain. You can Power Bounce for massive damage with Super Jump Charge and Mega Rush, or even Power Rush. You can do whatever you want with Power Bounce, really, as long as you're in peril. It's your highest burst damage option in the game, and it's incredible for a good reason. It's 2 BP and 3 FP, which isn't bad. That means you only need 2 Flower Savers to make it 1, and you only need 1 to make it 2, which lets you use it twice at least, you know? Like, you can Power Bounce, out of sight Power Bounce for 5 FP with 1 Flower Saver. That's amazing. That's really good. So, yeah, it's dope. It's only single target, so obviously you can't, it's not like, I would say there's not enough situations in 64 where you have to, like, lock down a big target with Power Bounce, but it's there. You can do that on in normal battles, but where it really shines, obviously, are bosses. Hilariously enough, though, it's actually one of the worst options against Final Bowser, because he has a big cap. Like he has a low chance of getting a crazy cap, and the 2 defense really cuts into your damage. And he heals because you're healing. So his healing AI kicks in. Compared to other loops with HP Drain. So it's just a fun little tidbit, but I mean, it's Power Bounce, man. Most of the time you get into peril, you smack them with Power Bounce and they're dead. There's nothing really more to say about it. It's your best damage dealing badge in the game. It's amazing. Well, here we go. Power Jump, the first badge you get in the game. Power Jump is a really interesting badge. So I'm going to be frank. A lot of the time when I do my strategizing, right, I'm going for perfect damage. I use some interesting choices to achieve perfect damage sometimes. Like, if I would have just overkill bosses and not care about dealing perfect damage, I could save a lot of BP and stuff. Power Jump is a great way for me to get to certain damage things. It's also just a really good early game. It's better than Power Bounce until you get Power Rush. And actually, even then, I think it's actually, like, think about this for a moment, right? Let's say you're at a boss with a 5 cap, and you have Power Bounce with Power Rush. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 damage with a 5 cap. With Power Jump, you're doing 6. It's 1 less damage for 1 less FP. I don't know. It's really not that bad. But it does fall off very quickly later on. And once you get Mega Rush, it's the done deal. Power Bounce stands tall above the rest, you know? I think Power Jump is serviceable, but it's probably in the same vein as, like, Multi-Bounce for me. Like, it may be great in early game, but that's it. And obviously, I use it sometimes for, like, really random stuff, but it doesn't mean it's, like, amazing or anything. It's just, like, it gets the job done a lot of the time. Yeah. So, actually, thinking about it, you don't get Mega Rush or Power Rush. Do you get Power Rush in Chapter 2? No, you get it in Chapter 3. Yeah. Yeah, Chapter 3. So you have super boots. Hold on, let me redo that calc real quick. If you have super boots with power rush and power bounce, that's in 5 cap 4, 7, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and then power jump does 8. That's 3 damage. Okay, so that's it. You can see power jump starts to lag behind pretty quick. Yeah, what up, BB? So, yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. Like, it's serviceable, but it's not like a go-to option. It's basically filler for me for like perfect damage and stuff later on. And again, it's aerial hammer. It's way better than hammer throw. Okay, power plus. Yeah, power plus. I'm not even gonna put it in C. I already know it's in the same place as defend plus for me. If I'm looking for extra power, my go-to is all or nothing. You get power plus a little earlier, but like at that point you don't really need power plus too much. Like obviously you can use it for a little extra damage, but like once you get all or nothing, if I'm looking for like the extra damage, I'm using all or nothing almost every time instead of power plus because the BP cost is better. A lot of the time, I just need like 1 or 2 extra points of power. And if there's 1, it's all or nothing if I have all or nothing. Almost every time. If I need 2, that's when I'll consider power plus. You know. And obviously, when I don't have all or nothing, you have to use power plus. But it's like 6 BP is a lot of BP. So it's a lot. Especially when you only have 30. So kind of knocks it down a bit for me, but obviously still a great badge. It supplements everything you're trying to do up here. It's just solid. It's great. Too bad it's 6 BP. Okay, Power Quake. I think Power Quake and Mega Quake have to go in the same spot for me. They're basically the same now that I'm like really thinking about the damage. Like, sure, Power Quake is 3 more FP. I mean, Mega Quake is 3 more FP, but like it doesn't really matter that much. I don't think so. Especially, like, again, I'm not using these unless I'm just, like, you know, doing normal battles, which I usually don't do all the time. If I'm running these, I'm probably running Flower Finder, so that kind of alleviates Mega Quake's problem. But the thing about Power Quake is you need Mega Rush to deal, like, really good damage. Like, obviously you can deal some okay-ish damage, like 7-8. With Power Quake, but like Mega Quake just automatically adds that +2 and it's super nice. Power Quake needs a little more oomph, you know, and like Mega Rush is really helps it, but that's more dangerous on the field because, you know, it's just more chances to miss a guard and die or something, you know. I think these two being right next to each other is pretty good. I feel like 4 years ago, I would put Mega Quake and Power Quake. I would put Mega Quake in a whole tier below Power Quake, but I think now I would put them in the same tier. Like I just don't see them being too different from each other. It's like it's whatever you prefer, honestly. Okay, Power Rush. Woo! Power Rush S tier. Yep. I know it's only... Listen, it may only be 2 BP. I mean, 1 BP, and it may only be +2. But, like, the fact of the matter is, there were a lot of times where it's like, okay, I get into danger this turn 1, deal a little extra damage, and then get into peril turn 2, so I can hit that HP I need to 1 round, like, 1 power bounce to win, right? It's like the Power Rush was, like, essential in getting that extra damage out before I hit peril. So I'm gonna put this. I think Double Dip is the worst of the top tiers, but Power Rush is definitely in the tippity top of the badges. Sometimes even like as late as Crystal King, I had strategies that didn't even need Mega Rush and it just needed Power Rush. Like, that's all you needed. Power Rush and Mega Rush are incredible together because they don't stack. So it's like, why deal less damage unless you don't need to deal the extra damage, right? Like, The only time I'm not using Power Rush and Mega Rush together is if I need, one, I don't need Mega Rush, or two, I'm dealing too much damage with Power Rush because I hit a HP trigger too early, or I'm doing too much and now Power Bounce does too much with Mega Rush, or something like that. Because, you know, I like to try to use perfect FP, I like to have perfect HP, manipulation, and I like to deal perfect damage to a boss. I like to deal exact damage. So sometimes they get in the way of each other for that, but like overall, having both on for 2 BP is insane. Like, why wouldn't you put them both on, right? Like, jeez. Just do it. Fun fact, I got Mega Rush in Chapter 3. I didn't use it once against Soablova. It took too long. You get into danger earlier. You get into danger earlier than you do in Peril because you can't get into Peril yet with 10 HP. Because you don't have enough defensive badges to stop the charge attack unless you Shrink Stomp him. Like, just think about that for a second. That's insane. You just don't need Mega Rush, right? That's like one of the, just an example. Obviously later on you can just get into Peril and smash him, but like that extra turn in danger can make or break your damage. Especially for me when I was trying to deal exact damage and stuff. Or even like get to the point where I could just beat the boss. So, yeah. Definitely one of the best badges in the game, for sure. Okay, Power Smash is literally worse Power Jump. Now, let me be clear. You get Power... you get Power Smash... Like, you get Super Hammer before Super Boots and Ultra Hammer before Ultra Boots in this game. But Hammer is still pretty whatever, because it only hits the front. The Quakes are not affected by your Hammer. If you use Mega Quake with Super Hammer, you deal 6. It doesn't matter what hammer you have. So the Quakes are already like whatever, right? But Power Smash is. Now, again, Power Smash is better than Power Jump on a single enemy that's not in the air, while you have Super Hammer before Super Boots and Ultra Hammer before Ultra Boots. But, like, you're not using Power Bounce, like Power Jump anyway to like do things usually by the time like you really need that. I used Power Smash a couple times when I had Super Hammer over Super Boots, but like other times I'm just using Power Jump. Like, especially if you have both, you know, you're using Power Jump. And like, if you think about it, let's think about this for a moment. Okay, here's a situation. Two-Ton Koopa. I know this is really early, but Two-Ton Koopa, you have Ultra Hammer. You have Ultra Hammer and Super Hammer and normal boots. Okay? You got Hammer Throw and Power Jump. Okay. Hammer Throw, 3 FP for 4 damage. You know what Power Jump is? 2 FP for 4 damage. Why the fuck are you using Hammer Throw? Like, I mean, you don't. I know this is. I'm just trying to illustrate like why Power Jump is still better than Power Smash, even if like sometimes you have a better hammer than Boots during parts of the game. Like, it's not enough when Power Jump is still more useful than Hammer Throw when you have a better hammer, and like sometimes enemies are just in the air. So there's no reason to do it. You don't need to. So, with that said, I think Power Smash is more useful than Mega Jump and Mega Smash, so I'm going to put it in E. Like, there are strategies where I can feasibly use Power Smash because it is the same FP cost as Power Jump. So it's like, if there's an enemy on the ground, like Master and Master 2 are great bosses where it's like, okay, maybe I could use Power Smash when I have the better hammer here for more damage compared to Power Jump with the weaker boots, right? But at the end of the day, you're using Power Jump more most of the time, especially in the early game. And once you have both of the same level of boots and hammer, there's no reason to use power smash or power jump. It's only when you have a better hammer. So, not enough to put it on the same tier. Definitely a tier lower, in my eyes, than power jump. And so that puts it in E. I just don't think it's bad enough to be put in F. Okay. Pretty lucky. Bad. Don't let the RNG fool you. This badge sucks. Just like all the other ones except for Close Call. These two badges are bad. Stop it. Use Cloud9 if you want to evade attacks. Don't waste 12 BP getting less than Cloud9's evasion chance, please. Don't do it, man. Now, I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. The F tier badges, it's not like you never need to equip these. Like, obviously there are times you can equip them and they'll be useful. It's not like you can't equip Lucky Day or Pretty Lucky and like cheese a boss earlier than maybe you should have been able to because it procced a little more than you'd expect. You know, like it's not like Pretty Lucky could proc 3 times in a row and that could cinch you that could net you a win. You know, whereas you otherwise wouldn't be able to win. But that doesn't mean it's good. It just means you got lucky. It's not like you can consistently do that strat over and over. I value, as a challenge runner, I value consistency. RNG is only valuable to me when I feel like it's a one-time thing, it's early in the fight, and it's like... No, that's it. If it's a one-time thing and it's early in the fight. For example, Anti-Guy or Hallway Bowser. All my Hallway Bowser strats needed Bowser to use Flame Breath turn 1. If he didn't, I would have had to reset. But, like, whatever. It's turn 1. It's the first attack. Like, if he doesn't do it, you reset and try again. Like, I don't care about attempts. I care about the strat coming to life and looking dope as fuck, right? It's like, Pretty Lucky's not going to do that for you. You can't control when that Lucky is going to proc. So it's bad. And it's unreliable because of that, too. It's not like you can be like, okay, I got Pretty Lucky. I should be able to live these attacks. No, no, no. It could just never proc. You can say that about Locke-Lester's Cloud9 too, but Cloud9 is a 50% chance. It's like 50-50. I mean, at some point, I don't know. You're going to evade something. But you still can't control it. So, bad. They're bad. Don't equip it. It's worse than... Is it worse than Lucky Day? I don't know. They're both really bad. Not that I'm gonna like put these in order. Just the top. Okay, Quake Hammer. So I think Quake Hammer is the weakest of the 3 hammers because it's a base of 2. So as you get farther, Quake Hammer gets a little worse. It's great that first chapter 2 when you get it and you can smack clefs. But other than that, it's like, I mean, it's good against hyper clefs too, but it's like, I would put this at D. I think it's in the same place as Multi-Bounce in terms of like its power scaling. It's just weak. As the further you get it, the worse it gets. Like it's solid when you get it, but it just tapers off. Whereas Power Quake and Mega Quake both can stay relevant, provided you're like utilizing danger or peril. You know. That's all I gotta say about the Quakes. That's all I gotta say. Okay, quick change. Here we go. Quick change is... Oh, man. We're gonna get into this when we talk about partners, but quick change is almost entirely unnecessary. It is actually not very good in this game. It is great for convenience. It's great in the field when you don't have a bad part... When you don't want to run away and swap out your partner, or like... You have this one wild situation in a normal battle where like swapping would be better. But like there are very few situations where swapping a partner is actually like bad. Like you can watch it in my BP only videos. I swap partners in quite a few strats and I take up the turn doing it, and it's just like Sometimes it's necessary because it's like I don't want to deal that damage anyway, so taking up the turn is like it looks better, quote unquote. But it's like sometimes you just don't need to, man. Like it's like that one turn of not dealing damage or doing something is not going to make or break it most of the time. And I say this all the time, but partners in 64 are very samey. There's only a few like unique things you can do, and most of them have one specific purpose. All of them have one specific purpose: deal the damage. it's a flavor of the week kind of thing, except for Bo, Watt, and Sushi. Everyone else, it's just whatever, man. It's just whatever. So, quick change is really not that useful. Is it great for convenience? Absolutely. Who doesn't want to have to, like, no one wants to run away to swap their partner in a normal battle. Like, that's so cumbersome, right? But, like, does that make it good? No, it just makes it convenient. It's not providing any real strategic value. It's just not inconveniencing you. You know? Like, that's all it's doing. So for me, I can't even put this in C. I don't even think it's good enough to be in C. I think it's a D tier badge, for sure. And I know a lot of people are going to see that and they're going to be like, Kappy, what the fuck are you thinking? But, I mean, where in a strategy do you need to swap on the same turn? Like, you don't. You just don't. A couple times, maybe, where, like, you need to swap to bow and out of sight that turn, right? And you still need to deal damage with Mario or do something with Mario. But, like, I'm telling you right now, in my BP only experience with, like, those limited stats, you didn't need anything. And a lot of other strategies, it's the same exact thing. I'm pretty sure even an even turn, I do not recall using quick change a lot. Like, I would just swap on the turn I could and just let it happen. Like, it's just the way it is, man. It's just like in TTYD, even though it's way better in like, I just don't think it's very good. And it's 4 BP. I don't know. It's a lot. And it's not like, here's the thing, it's not like 64 has a pre-hook tail pit where quick change is amazing and like you can like really see like what it's doing for you. It's not like you can store status on a partner. Like, what it boils down to why I think quick change is so much worse in this game is that, again, partners are very basic and you can't do anything super interesting with them like you can in T2ID. You can't point swap Mega Rush P, Bo, or Sushi, or Paracarry, or what have you, or Cooper, and like obliterate a boss with your partner. No, it's just Mario. It's just Mario in this game. Like, and it's not like you need to, like, it's not like you're quick changing to avoid some damage or quick changing to manipulate some damage. You're not quick changing to preserve any status. You're not quick changing to, I don't know, do whatever. It's just, I just feel like there's no point to it. I think I used it once and it was just for fun. Like, I never needed it. And you don't need to cycle, water block, turbocharge, and Cloud9. No one needs to do that. No one needs to do that. There's no reason to do that. Like, it's like, against most bosses, you're using the same partner anyway because they're just dealing damage. Like, I'm serious about this. It's like, we'll get into it with the partners, but I'm just like, it's just the way it is. Quick change is not very good. It's convenience king, and I'll give it that, but... And it's great for normal battles, sometimes, but like, most of the time, you don't even need it for normal battles. You just bring out a partner and stick with them, and... Like, I'm gonna be, like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest for a second. I'm gonna be real with y'all for a second, alright? Some people, like, sometimes you see people playing a game, like, sometimes people are playing Paper Mario, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna use X partner this time, and it's like, You don't need to, though. Sometimes people, like, they swap out a partner because they feel like using that partner, and then they want to swap back in to the partner that they originally had out because that partner's better for whatever situation they're in. And they're like, man, wish I had quick change on, and it's, or like, glad I had quick change on, and it's like, bro, why did you even swap the partner out? Like, you know you're not going to use these other partners. Just use the better one. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing for bosses, too. It's like, oh, man, let me bring in Goombario for Bowser. And it's like, no, stop it. You're using Watt. Shut up and use Watt. Don't quick change out to Watt. Just put her in. Oh. I don't know. I cannot rate a badge higher just because it's good for convenience. I have to rate it how good it actually is. And in this instance, its usefulness, its usefulness in some normal battles is what gives it an edge for me. Otherwise, like, I could even, if someone put quick change in E tier, I would not question it. I'm telling you right now. If someone put it in E tier, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I get it. I get why you'd put it in E tier. Because I could see myself putting it in E tier too. Like, I really do not think quick change is very good in this game. I would agree. Quick change is much better in Master Quest when you have to, like, sometimes you gotta, like, you know, in Master Quest you gotta do that stuff. I have to, BB. Gotta specify the criteria. Gotta specify it. Otherwise, people are gonna be up in arms. I mean, people are gonna, the thing is, I'm gonna post this to Twitter, and people are gonna be up in arms, because they're not gonna have the video at first to see. They're just gonna see this list. I'm just sending it off to the masses. I can't wait for the quick change apologists to come out and destroy me. If you could save buffs, I mean, if 64 partners could do that, it'd be much more interesting, for sure. Kappy is over party? Cancelled for hating quick change. They hated him because he told the truth. Okay, let's move on to Super Jump Charge. Yeah, you already knew where this was going. This is A tier. Super Jump Charge is amazing. It doesn't matter that it's 3 BP and 4 FP. This badge... Wait. 3 BP and 4 FP? Yeah. This badge is insane. It's insane. You can Super Jump Charge twice with Mega Rush. That's 10 extra damage on your power bounce. And if you have 2 Flower Savers on, like, you can do that with 5 FP, which is insane for efficiency, despite the 12 BP you have to spend on the 2 Flower Savers. Like, this badge is wild. You know what I'm saying? It's insane, dude. But, you know, it's not... You might be asking, Kappy, why is this not an S tier? Like, this badge is amazing. Well, the thing is, like, again, you don't need Super Jump Charge for everything. In fact, there are quite a few times where I use Super Jump Charge and Jump Charge because the FP cost of Super Jump Charge was a little much. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you get an extra 2, like, the fact that you get +3 instead of +2 is a big deal, and it does make a lot of strats work. Like, it's actually insane. Sometimes you only need 1 Super Jump Charge to, like, get the job done, unless you're really going for, like, crazy damage. So it's very good. I think I said earlier that I would put, maybe I didn't say this, but I'm saying it now. If I think Super Jump Charge and Jump Charge, while I think Jump Charge is a tier worse right now, I would not disagree if someone put them on the same tier. But I would not agree. So if Jump Charge and Super Jump Charge were both A tier, I wouldn't question that. I'd be like, okay, I get it. If someone put them both down here, I'd be like, wait a minute. Because I do not think Super Jump Charge is worse than A. Like, it's very good. Yeah, it's crazy. It's very good. I think the thing is, it's like once you get Super Jump Charge, it's like, okay, I could use it on almost every boss except for Final Bowser. Like, literally every boss you could use Super Jump Charge on. So, yeah. That's kind of where I think it is. But again, I could see both of these I could see both jump charges in A. And it would be insane. Like, not insane, I'm sorry. I wouldn't like bat an eye, really. Oh, here we go. Super Smash Charge. Yep. F. We're not talking about it. Super Smash Charge sucks. Because Hammer sucks. It's not good. It's not good. Don't equip it. You don't need to. If you're going to charge, use the superior jump. Unless you're trying to meme. Don't get me wrong. This is a great meme badge. If you want to super smash charge your way to 1-hit KOing somebody, hey, be my guest. It's just hella inefficient. Is hammer charge going NA? Okay, Shrink Stomp. So I'm gonna be real with you. I think Shrink Stomp is the best of the status badges. Shrink Stomp is a poor man's last stand because it halves an enemy's attack. The only issue with Shrink Stomp is if an enemy has like Shrink Stomp lasts one less turn than the actual number that it says. It's really dumb. So if you if an enemy has 2 turns of Shrink, they actually have 1 turn of Shrink. But usually you only need 1 turn of Shrink. Like, you only need, like, 1 turn, usually. At least in my experience, you only need 1. Maybe 2. Can't remember if I needed 2 for Anti-Guy or not. I'd have to relook at the strat, but I don't want to bring it up right now. So, yeah. The thing is, while I think Shrink Stomp is better, I don't think it's enough to, like, put it above Dizzy Stomp. I think they're the same. But I do think it's the best. Like, I'm not going to move it in E tier because these are all unordered. Besides S tier. But I do think that Shrink Stomp is the best status stomp in 64. I don't know. I guess if someone put it in D, I wouldn't really mind. But I don't think I can move it up to D, personally. Like, I just use it so little compared to other things in D besides Quick Change. And Quick Change is only in D because of what we discussed before. It's like normal battles and stuff that I'm not, like... that I'm not super keen on, but I have to respect still. Okay, Sleep Stomp, however, I'm putting in F. You may be thinking, what the fuck? But it has, like, 1 use, and that's Kenshi Koopa, and it's just not necessary when you have Lullaby and Sleepy Sheep. And you may be thinking, what about Dizzy Stomp, Kappy? Well, again, like, Dizzy Stomp is different because, like... well, I don't know. The thing about... You know what makes Sleep worse? Is that there's a status... that status is also a star power. Dizzy Stomp has an item. So it's like, you can sometimes be like, okay, I don't want to use Dizzy Dial. I want to, like, use Dizzy Stomp. But, like, you don't even need a Sleepy Sheep. For Kenshi Koopa, you can just Lullaby. And it works just as well, you know? Sleep Stomp just doesn't have a use because of that. And, like, you can use it on other things, too, but it's like, you don't really need to, again, like, just like with Dizzy Stomp, like, it's okay-ish. Honestly, I think I could see Dizzy Stomp in F, too, and I wouldn't be, like, the unused badges? Like, ranking these? I mean, I could rank them on my personal opinion, but I don't think these are very interesting to rank, honestly. I could, though. I could make a quick and dirty NA tier list. Oh, the beta badges? No, because they're not part of vanilla. There's no point. I did rank them when they were in, like, mods, though, when I did my mods. If I ever use them, I've used Payoff in something. I can't remember what, but I've never used Runaway Pay. Maybe I've used Runaway Pay once in Randomizer, but I've never used Payoff or Runaway Pay in vanilla. Ever. Anyway, so yeah, Sleep Stomp. I might be moving Dizzy Stomp down, I'm not gonna lie. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I have to look at the list after I'm done with all these. Okay, Smash Charge, you already know, F tier. Yep, sucks. It's literally, it's Super Smash Charge, but a tiny bit better. It's bad. Spike Shield. Spike Shield goes in the same exact spot as Ice Power. Let me be real with you for a second. There are not enough spiky enemies in the game for Spike Shield to be super useful. And if there are, most of the time they are on the ground, and you can just Quake Hammer them to flip them over like Koopa Trolls, which is infinitely better than just equipping Spike Shield. Why not just use Quake Hammer? There are not many aerial spiky enemies. I think it's just Junior Troopa. Honestly, I think it's just Junior Troopa that is aerial and spiky. So, Spike Shield is not very good. But you can use it for Junior Troopa, obviously. And if you want to multi-bounce away with Spike Shield, go right ahead. I just think Quake Hammer is more efficient and better. Spike Shield is, you know, it's a lot of BP to use another move when you could just equip one move. So, yeah. I will say it is pretty useful for Junior Troopa. Like Final Junior Troopa. Yo, thank you for the bit, Krog. Okay, Spin Smash. Yep, it's bad. Nope, don't use it. Literally worthless. It's cool to use it's cool to get coins from Kenshi Koopa or knock away the tower, the Shy stacks in the General Guy fight, but other than that, it's literally worthless. You do not need to use it. So, it's bad. Like, even on the field, even in normal battles, you never need this badge, bro. It's, like, so much worse than using any Quake or multi-bounce or literally anything. It bad. I'm not really going to talk about it otherwise. It's really bad. Like, there's just no reason. Like, you can do so much more with so many other things that Mario has available to him. And then there was Triple Dip. Now, I actually just did a spotlight on Triple Dip. One thing that really knocks Triple Dip is, again, it has the same bug as Double Dip, where if you have less than 6 FP, even with Flower, if you have 2 Flower Savers and Triple Dip costs 4 FP, and you have 5 FP currently, you can't use Triple Dip because Triple Dip has the bug where you have to have at or above the original FP cost to be able to use the move. That really sucks for it. That means you kind of need 15 FP to really do anything with this badge. Unless you want to equip 2 Flower Savers. So, like, it's really not that great. And, like, while you can use 3 items, and that's pretty baller, and it's actually more efficient against Anti-Guy unit than Double Dip is. I just think like that the extra BP and the extra FP really are hurting it. And like a lot of the times you can like I don't know. I think the FP is too much. Like it's hard. I feel like you can only really use it unless you have 15 FP or like 20 even. I feel like you can't use it multiple times well and then combine it with other things to do like power bounce, power jump, anything out of sight, anything a partner wants to do like squirt or shell shot. There's just like not a lot there. Whereas Double Dip, even with 10 FP, without a Flower Saver, or even just one Flower Saver for that matter, like I feel like you can combo it with so much more stuff. Like you can really slot in Double Dip in places that you could never slot in Triple Dip. But it's not like Triple Dip, like on the concept of using 3 items is not bad. It's just, again, it's like, I think it's got to be E tier for me. Like, it's definitely not it's not F tier. You could definitely use it, but you really got to commit to the Triple Dip. Like, if you're going to do it. And like, most of the time I just feel like Double Dip heavily outclasses. Okay, and Zapper! Okay, oh man. Alright, Zap Tap, listen, listen. I've used Zap Tap in some strats. I did it because I just wanted to showcase it, but I'm gonna be real with you. Zap Tap is Zap. It sucks. It's not good. And don't give me Master's Combo Attack. Don't give me that. Because you can just chill out and last stand away that shit. You don't need Zap Tap. It's actually more inefficient to get into peril with Zap Tap than it is without it. Like, you need the combo attack. And if you combo attacks, you don't want to like be sitting taking literally nothing. And you don't want to rely on Zap Tap when like his kick combo, like his kick attack does more damage. Like, you need to be able to deal with both. Zap Tap does not let you do that. Zap Tap is not necessary against Electro Blooper because literally any other attack besides Mario will stop the electricity and then Mario can attack. You do not need Zap Tap for any boss that is not stopping anything. You do not need the tiny 1 extra damage most of the time. Unless you're trying to be cheeky and flashy. I mean, obviously you can use it for that. What would I do then? Bro. That's when you have Defender Plus equipped. It's also 4 BP, which is, I think, isn't TTYD's 3? I can't remember. But 4 BP for Zapper? Oh, it's so bad. And like, sure, maybe, you know, sure, you can use Fuzzy, you can do it with Fuzzies, and the swoopers that suck your health, and the blooper babies, but honestly, you don't need to. I think I did use, again, I used it a couple times because I was like, just trying to be creative with it, but like, it's definitely less efficient than it's so much more inefficient than a lot of other badges. One cool use of this badge, though, is setting up a strategy where you kill Huff and Puff on the turn he charges, because if you have Zap Tap equipped, you can actually attack him on the turn he's charged with electricity, which is kind of dope, but it doesn't make it, it doesn't get it out of F tier, it's just cool. That's a cool little fact. Zap Tap sucks. It's not good. And I mean, you can just, I feel like you just play and you use all these other bonkers moves if you're abusing danger. Like, you just do not need Zap Tap ever. And if you really need the electricity, you could literally bring 1 Voltrum and it's like, it's the same thing, man. It's just 1 turn of no damage with Mario. Like, you could even double dip the Voltrum with a shooting star or something. Like, you don't need Zap Tap. But I did use it a couple times for fun. Okay, so I'm already telling you right now, yep, I gotta move Close Call down to D. Like, I just can't keep it in C. And then, man, think I'm moving Dizzy Stomp down to F too. Like, it's just like Dizzy and Sleep Stomp feel so much like the same. Even though you can use Dizzy on more bosses, it's like, yeah, but you can also just use an item. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't matter as much. Right? Most of the time, when you're using a status, like, you need to get into peril first. If you're not in peril already and you're using a status, you're just doing yourself a disservice by dealing less damage overall. That's how I feel. And like, obviously, these F tier badges, it's not like F tier has literally 0 use at any point, because I've used some of these badges, as I've mentioned, but it's like, I just feel like in most cases, you're literally never going to use them, whereas in E, you'll see some tangible use for most of those badges at one point. It's not like you need Dizzy Stomp. I mean, yeah, you could just use Dizzy Shell. The thing is, like, most of those bosses that you're using Dizzy Stomp on, they're in the air, so you can't use Dizzy Shell. Like the bloopers and Junior Troopa, specifically. Let me see. Unfortunately, this is not a top 10. It's very sad. I'm thinking about moving Jump Charge up to A. Or Flower Saver. Honestly, I'm thinking about moving Flower Saver up to A. Because even though it's 6 VP, I'm just thinking, like, competing with the rest of those badges, I feel like Flower Saver... Like, I know FE Plus is, like, okay, but I'm just, like, thinking about, like, what Flower... Like, multiple high FP moves, Flower Saver is better than FP Plus. I think I'm going to put Flower Saver in A. That way we have a nice... Because I do feel like Flower Saver is a top 10 badge. I think this is a good top 10. I'm not ordering A tier, though. FYI. I'm not ordering the A tier, I could see Jump Charge and Flower Saver swapped. That would be an acceptable top 10 to me, too. But I think... Like, just, like, kind of how I was, like, thinking about, like, badges, and, like, I'm just talking about, like, FP, like, oh, yeah, you can use Flower Saver. It's like, oh, yeah, I talk about Flower Saver a lot. And, like, again, FE Plus is, like, it's good, don't get me wrong. And in some cases, it's better than Flower Saver. I do feel like Flower Saver allows more in the long run. Especially if you're using high FE moves like Super Jump Charge. Okay, yep. I think this is it. This is the badge tier list. Now the other tier lists will go way quicker than this one. Yeah. So this is your this is my official 64 badge tier list. Again, this is from a challenge runner's perspective. It is about strategy efficiency. It's about what's really being used in strategies. It's got a couple things. It's got, you know, obviously some of these badges are not like great for bosses, and I don't just want to like leave them out. It's like Flower Finder and Quick Change and others like those, like you know, I do think about normal battles too, and like I feel like if you looked at this list, a lot of these badges for normal battles would also be pretty okay. At the end of the day, Power Rush, Last Stand, and Mega Rush and Double Dip are great for normal battles too. So it's like all these are great for normal battles except for maybe HP Drain. Like if you're looking at the list from like not just bosses, like this looks pretty good for like that too, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Okay. Nice. Let's move on to partners. These are all the partners. I couldn't find just a 64 one, so whatever. You're going to look at this, you're going to be like, Kappy, why do you only have 3 tiers? And I'm going to tell you why right now. Paper Mario's 64 partners are very samey. They do a lot of the same things. You know what they're really great for? Dealing damage. There's really not much else besides Bo, Sushi, and Watt, and sometimes Goombario. And you might be thinking, but Lackluster has something, and Cooper has something. Well, it doesn't really matter in the long run. Even Watt doesn't really have, like, I'm telling you right now, Turbocharge is not good. Wish I could rate 64 moves, like partner moves. That would be a great tier list instead of just the partners. I feel like that would be so much more interesting if someone can make something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this pretty quick. We're just gonna go down the line. So, gosh, I can't remember what I did for my alignment tier list. Let me see. I needed to check back with that really quick. Okay. Okay, this is actually okay. This is okay, I think. Yep, okay. Yep. The Wiggler segments, I guess they do, man. For some reason, I don't know why these are here, honestly. Oh. Who is this from Origami King? Okay, anyway, so we'll start with Lackluster. Oh, let me get rid of this ad. Okay, so let me look at this thing. I think I need to get rid of... No, I'm not going to get rid of B tier. Okay. Lackluster. I'm going to actually order all of these, by the way. So Lackluster's B tier. Here's what we got for Lackluster, okay? Lackluster, last partner to come in, which is it's a big oof for him. You really don't need him for Huff and Puff. He's not good for anything else in the later chapters. He does 5 damage with his basic, like almost every other partner does. One thing that Lackluster has over every other partner is that his basic can hit literally anyone. Like, his is the only basic attack that hits literally anybody. Like, he cannot be stopped. Watt can't damage fire enemies. You know, Bo and some others can't damage certain enemies. Cooper can't damage aerial enemies. Bombette. Well, Bombette can technically damage every enemy, but not with her basic, which is Body Slam, and that sucks. Sushi obviously can't either. Parakarry can't damage certain enemies. Lackluster can damage everybody. That's one thing he's got going for him. Everything else sucks. Spiny Surge is okay. It's an AoE for 4 FP that hits everybody for Cooper Power Shell damage. So 4 at Ultra. It's not bad, but it's like, it's not necessary, I guess. Like, much like how Parakarry's Air Raid, like, if you're actually good at Sushi's Tidal Wave, it's just whatever, because it's 6 damage for 6 FP. You know, its Tidal Wave can be like 10 plus. The 4 damage is like okay, and it's great that it hits literally every enemy on screen. But it's like, besides Huff and Puff, not many enemies like care, and it doesn't pierce. So like the Bowser Castle enemies with like some defense really really destroy this thing, honestly. Cloud9, as I've mentioned in my badge tier list, is better than all 3 lucky badges combined. Does that make it amazing? No. It's cool that it invalidates 3 badges and saves you a lot of BP, but at the end of the day, it's unreliable. It doesn't help you get into danger or peril when you need to, because you don't really need to evade anything in this game besides like a couple moves, and you can use bow for that. And then, oh, I mean, if Cloud9 stacked with lucky badges, he'd be in a different tier, that's for sure. And then Hurricane, it's Hurricane. I don't know, it's whatever. It's not like, it's like whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is, I guess. I don't really know what else to say about Hurricane. It's like Spook, you know. It's an AoE. Everybody, what is Spook versus Hurricane? They're the same move, just a different status. To AoE get rid of AoE clear of the field. I don't think Hurricane is bad, but I also don't think it's like enough to do like be anything impressive. It's not like Flurry where it's your tier, it's one of your basic moves, and you get experience from it, you know? And it's like actually super good. It's his ultra rank move, and it's like I don't know. It's okay, but it's not enough to do anything crazy. Ultimately, Lackluster is one of the worst partners because he comes in late and his utility is like unreliable and his damage is low. Like he has no big damage moves And Hurricane is an AoE infinite damage thing, but it's like you don't get experience for it, so it's like whatever. It's not like it works against bosses. So yeah, I'm not gonna do them in order of appearance. I'm just gonna do it down the list. That's easiest for me, more interesting. Okay, Bo. Yeah, so I still think Bo is the best partner in the game, but I think it's what the joke. Wait, what joke? I think partners are closer to Bo than I used to think. Like, you don't need to out of sight everything. Now, did I use out of sight? Yes. Did I use smack a lot? Yes. Oh, lackluster? No. No, I'm not doing that, bro. So yeah, I mean, Bo, 6 damage, but they're each 1 damage, so defense destroys her. Fan Smack is good. She does 10 damage for like, what, 4 or 5 FP? That's crazy. That's dope. It's single target, but whatever. And she has Spook, which is an AoE clear. Just like Hurricane. But it's, you know... Like, Spook is actually pretty good. But I mean, I wouldn't use it too often in vanilla Paper Mario, so I think it's pretty useless in vanilla. But you know, it's there. Her biggest thing is out of sight and smack. Out of sight, obviously huge. You can in peril power bounce, out of sight power bounce. You can jump, out of sight power bounce. You can do imagination, out of sight imagination. It doesn't matter as long as you confront the FP. You can do it. It's only 2 FP, which makes out of sight incredible. You only need 1 flower saver to make it 1. That's crazy. Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, I think she's the best partner. A lot of bosses don't have defense, by the way, which is why it's like so crucial for her. Like, she would not be as good if so many bosses didn't have 0 defense, but they do. And she can smack, and she can punish them for that. Okay, we got Goom. Goomy. Yeah. I actually think Goombario, in a surprising twist, I think Goombario is the best non-Big 3 partner. I'll get to the Big 3 in a second. Goombario is pretty good despite a buggy multi-bonk and charge being literally worthless until you have multi-bonk. Goombario is pretty okay. It's a lot of FP to get him online to do a lot of damage with multi-bonk and charge. But what's good about him is actually his early game is surprisingly okay. He does deal... He's also the only other person who deals 6. But, yeah. Actually, Goom is, in this spot where in early game, you actually get more value out of him, out of upgrading him first, because it was 4 damage, head bonk compared to other partners. And it's no FP, which is pretty good, right? Like, that's what he's really got going for him. I might be getting rid of the beats here, by the way, at the end of this. We'll see. I think I am going to. You know what? We're just going to do it now. Fuck it. Fuck it. We're getting rid of it. I can't. I'm just thinking about it. Nope. I can't do it. It has to be this. Yep. Okay. What? Ranking them on a build? What do you mean? The whole point of my tier lists are combat and like the gameplay and their abilities. Like, I can't rank them based on their character and stuff. That has no bearing on how good they are in combat. Like, the people need to know which partners are good and which partners are okay. But I'm never gonna rank Super Sticker Star or Color Splash. So it doesn't matter. The tier list itself? What? I'm not... Oh, the template? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm not ranking any of these partners. I'm just doing 64. Anyway, you might be wondering why I got rid of the B. Why I got rid of the B tier. It's because I'm thinking about it, right? It's like Goombario, I think, is better than Lakalester, right? But Goombario, once you get like Bo and Watt and Sushi, like you just don't need Goombario or Lakalester, really. It's like we gotta talk about partners for a second. Partners in 64 are so in such a weird spot for me. Like, I don't even want to do spotlights on them because they're so weird. Like, it's weird because, like, you know, with TTYD, partners are fairly distinct, and because you can power rush, mega rush them, and do other things, like, you can really do things with them that's, like, crazy. But it feels like every partner in this game, sans Bo and Sushi, like, I know everyone has their third ability that does something like crazy, but it's like most of the time when I'm using these partners, I'm just selecting a damage dealer. Like, it's like I need to deal X damage with a partner. Who can do that? Oh, Goombario and Lakalester can do it. I can use either one, you know? And at that point, it's just personal preference, or it's like, oh, Goombario has the ability to miss an action command and deal only 3 damage instead of 6, so I can use that to better, like, make the strat look prettier or get exact damage because of that. So it's like, that's what's so, like, weird about 64 for me. It's like, I just feel like every partner, it's just weird. Thank you for the bit, Krog. So, I don't know. I think Goombario early game is good, and the lack of FP is great. Not that you really need to worry about it too much, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I put Parakarry below Cooper, and I made a mistake. I guess it's really close. Yeah, so the reason why all these guys are A tier is because they're all very similar to me in terms of combat utility. It's hard for me, like, I'm going to rank them in order, but you have to understand something. All of these partners in this tier are super samey. Even some of the partners in the, like, there's only a small gap, I would say, between the S and A tier here. Like, it's not huge. But there is a clear difference between Bo and these two, you know, in terms of, like, what you're using. Bo, you can control how much damage you do. Fan Smack is really good, especially for its FP cost. Dealing 10 damage. Out of Sight is incredible, because Mario doesn't lose a turn out of it. It's really amazing. The only thing that doesn't matter for her is Spook, right? Okay, let's do Watt. Watt, I think, is the second best partner in 64, above Sushi. I'll get to that in a second. Watt literally needs none of her other moves. She just needs Electro Dash. Sometimes you can paralyze if you want to. Especially in a run where you're limited and stuff. Like, paralysis is pretty damn good. And Turbocharge. Turbocharge is fun to use, but usually not necessary. But it is fun to use sometimes. But it's like that one extra attack power. Like, if you can somehow fit in that Turbocharge, it's pretty good. But, like, normally, like, if you think about it, you're usually losing damage. Especially in like strats that I make, it's like, it's not like you're just jump, and you actually do more damage than Watt would with that Turbocharge. Like, the way Turbocharge, like, the way you can tell if Turbocharge is the right choice, usually, when you Turbocharge with Watt, you're missing out on the damage she deals. So does Mario deal more damage in the duration of Turbocharge or not? So that one turn of Turbocharge, does Mario deal more damage than the Electro Dash before Turbocharge ends? Assuming that Watt Electro Dashes every other turn after she Turbocharges. If the answer is yes, Turbocharge gave you more damage. If the answer is no, you should have just Electro Dashed with Watt, because you're actually doing less damage. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Basically, any late game boss with 2 defense, Watt is superior to almost every other boss, to every other partner, sorry, not boss, because she deals 5 to everybody, to every boss, no matter what. And every boss with 2 defense, the max anyone else can deal besides Bombette, I think. No, not even. Yeah, I think basically everyone else deals 4 FP. But Watt does it for free. So why not use Watt? You know? Yeah. And the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, it's consistent damage for free against a lot of late game enemies. And if you're not using Watt, you're probably using Bow because she does 6 damage, or Goombario, I guess, but normally Bow because she has more utility immediately in her kit, like out of sight. You do 6 damage instead of the 7 that they would deal. So, or Bow can deal 10 with Fan Smack, you know? So it's like, yeah. Okay, Bombette. I think Bombette is the worst partner in 64, but that doesn't mean much. Like, she's barely the worst partner. All of her, besides Body Slam being just atrocious, Bomb, Power Bomb, and Mega Bomb all deal the same damage. They're kind of wild on the FP side for Power Bomb and Mega Bomb, but Bomb is not bad if there's a single target on the ground. Like, it's solid. 7 damage for 3 FP. Not bad. But all she does is deal damage. And again, it's a lot of FP. She's very FP hungry. Her Power Bomb hits things that... Her Power Bomb doesn't hit things that I think it should hit, like Lava Piranha, which is very disappointing. You have to Mega Bomb. She can't hit freaking Tubba Blubba's heart without Mega Bomb. Stupid. Yes, they all deal the same damage. I'm almost positive about that. Maybe Mega Bomb deals 1 more? Wait, maybe Mega Bomb deals 1 more damage? No, I'm right. They're all one. Nope, they're all the same. Mega Bomb is literally the same. I knew it. Yeah, they're all the same. So, 7 damage to everybody. Which means Mega Bomb really sucks because, you know, Air Raid from Parakarry does 6 to all enemies for 2 less FP. So it's 1 damage, 1 extra damage for 2 FPs. So, not great for Bombette. It's not looking good for Bombette. Okay, Cooper. I think Cooper... this is tough. In my alignment list that I put out like a month ago, I think I put Cooper above Parakarry. I don't know if that's true. I guess, actually, it is kind of true. Just trying to think about, like, if Mario's, like, power bouncing or multi-bouncing or quick hammering or using Starstorm, I feel like Cooper, for the most part, can clean up with just a Power Shell. Or even Fire Shell, and it's not that bad. It's more like... I'm just trying to think of, like, all the aerial enemies. I feel like it's actually okay for Cooper to be above Parakarry. Because there's a lot of there's a lot of grounded enemies in 64. There's not a lot of aerial enemies, if you really think about it. So Cooper has Power Shell, Dizzy Shell, which I don't really think is that great. Because you don't really need Dizzy. Shell, I think it's Toss or Shot. No, it's Toss. Shell Toss is just, you know, normal. 5 damage. Like most other partners. And then Fire Shell is 6 damage, Fire Element, which absolutely destroys White Clubbas. And I don't think it destroys anyone in Bowser's Castle. I can't remember. But I can't remember. Does it destroy Dry Bones in Bowser's Castle? I can't remember. I don't know if that's Bombette or Cooper. Maybe it's both. Yeah, I don't think they're weak to it. Anyway, it's not like not like Cooper is like again. Cooper only hits grounded enemies, so he gets kind of fucked there. But it's like if you need a quick AOE that's all grounded, you're not doing anything more FP efficient than Cooper. Even though it's 4 damage for like 3 FP, like it's not bad. I don't know. I feel like Cooper. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just yeah. And then Sushi. Okay, you got to hear me out on this one. Okay, Sushi has the potential to deal the most damage of any partner with Tidal Wave. So she's in the top 3. Water Block is actually really good. Water Block is great to save defense, especially if you're just going to use Sushi for her 5 damage or Squirt or whatever, and you have the FP to front it. So, I mean, they're all, like, she's just all around good besides Body Slam being whatever. But Tidal Wave is, like, the big thing, right? Like, Tidal Wave has the ability to deal over 10 damage for 6 FP. It's pretty wild. But I'm going to be honest with you, okay? If you're not hitting above 10 damage consistently with Tidal Wave, I don't even know if that's possible. I think it might be with JD Aster's method, like most consistent method. I think you can get 10 consistently. But if you're not hitting 10 or above, you're better off using Bow. Unless they have defense, right? And I know this, like, it's an AoE thing, and, like, Bow's single target. But, like, honestly, you can probably save FP. Like, you probably don't need... Like, Tidal Wave has a you don't need Tidal Wave, is the thing. You don't need it. Because you can probably get away with an item, double-dipping items, Starstorm, and then either Lackluster or Cooper. Or hell, even Parakarry. Although, I think at that point, if you're going to use Parakarry, you may as well use Sushi, because she's just better than him in every way. But, like, the thing is, against bosses, Sushi suffers the exact same way most of the other partners do. And it's not like you're going to be spamming Tidal Wave against a boss with 2 defense. Like, you're not going to do that. That's a lot of FP. That's still a lot of FP. When, like, there's still 2 defense to contend with. And, like, you could just use Squirt, right? And if you can use Squirt, you can use Bomb or Shell Shot. So it's like... I don't feel like Tidal Wave is so explosively good that it puts her above Watt and Bow in terms of utility, when, like, Watt and Bow are very consistent. There's no, like... Now, again, if you can be consistent with Tidal Wave, again, maybe that could put her maybe above Watt, but, like, I think Bow is better, not just because of, like, the damage she's dealing, but of the out-of-sight utility that she provides, along with, like, Fan Smack. Like, I know Water Block is good, but it's not, like, necessary, you know? It can save you some BP, but, like, if you don't need to save the BP, it's not necessary, and you could save the FP for other things. So you could lower your FP, and, like, again, most of the time, against any boss with a lot of defense, you're better off just using Watt. Because why go through all that to spam Tidal Wave, a 6 FP move, when Watt can just deal 5 for nothing? You know? I can't get around that. For me, that's enough to put Sushi as 3rd best partner. But she's still a cut above the rest of these. And then, finally, Parakarry, who I think is smack dab in the middle, right here. The thing about Parakarry and why he's better, in my opinion, than Bombette and Lackluster, albeit not by much, because Parakarry is the king of early game. Like, Shell Shot is amazing, especially when upgraded to Super, even though it's 3 FP. Goombario is really his only competition at that point. The thing is, like, yeah, it's just, like, he's great. And, I mean, at Ultra Rank, he does the same damage as Bomb and Squirt with Shell Shot. Air Raid is a more consistent Tidal Wave if you're bad at the action command. I don't think that's enough to, like, move him or anything. It's just, like, it's 6 AoE damage for 6 FP, so it's not, like, terrible. It's just outclassed by Tidal Wave. I mean, it should be, because you should be better at Tidal Wave. Like, I can't be ranking, like, I'm bad at Tidal Wave, but I can't be ranking Paracarry above Sushi just because I suck at Tidal Wave. Like, the potential of Tidal Wave is real, and it's not that bad to, like, Cycle Mash if you, like, put in a little bit of practice, you know? It's like, yeah. So, Paracarry can't be better. The thing is, later on, I feel like Goombario actually is better, and Cooper, like, has the AoE that's, like, for less FP, and Goombario has Head Bonk for no FP, which makes things a little more like FP efficient, like your FP economy goes up. So it's kind of hard to compete with that, in my opinion. But yeah, those are the partners. Now let me talk about something really quick, because this is the final list. These are all ordered, by the way. These are all ordered. Let me talk about something really quick. I think these partners, like these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 8 partners, right? I think as long as they're separated by tiers like this, you can put any of these partners in any fucking order you want. Why? Because they're so samey. Like, against Final Bowser, you can either use Watt for free, or you can use Sushi, Paracarry, or Bombette. You can use all 3 of them. Why? Because they all their second tier moves, Squirt, Shell Shot, and Bomb, do the same fucking damage. They all do the same damage. It's ridiculous. All these people do is do tiny, different, varying amounts of damage for different varying amounts of FP. So it doesn't really matter what order they're in. This is just how I feel about it personally. As long as Sushi, Watt, and Bo are a tier above the rest, it doesn't matter what order you put them in. You can put Sushi first, you can put Bo third, you can put Watt first, you can put Goombario last, Lackluster first. It doesn't fucking matter. All these partners are the same, and it's super ridiculous. Don't forget that. Don't forget that all these partners are very samey, and at the end of the day, as long as you're hitting the damage that you need to for your strats, it doesn't matter what fucking partner you're using. Period. To Star Spirits. Oh, I need to get rid of all these tiers probably, but we'll see what I'm feeling like when we get there. So there's only 7 of these. We're gonna make this really quick. Timeout is Timeout is C. Timeout is good against a certain few bosses. Namely, you could use it against Hallway Bowser, Master. Solid choices. You can even use it against Kenshi Koopa if you do it after if you do him after Chapter 6. Stop is a very powerful status, especially like in the field. Like a Chapter 7, you can spam Timeout, and it's actually really good. So, yeah, it's only 2 SP. It's not bad. I actually gonna make this B. I think I need to get rid of D tier. Okay, Mistar, the worst star power in the game by far. 20 HP for 3 star energy? No way. It's so bad. Like, I will never use this. Even if you have 20 HP, I'll never use this. Just use an item, bro. Smooch sucks. Easily the worst. Refresh? Oh, Refresh? One of the best. I will be ordering these, by the way. Refresh? Probably the 3rd best. Well, yeah, 3rd best star power. 5 recovery is really good for 1 star energy. Sometimes, like, in a strat, you need to, like, just cycle with what you need to heal, like, once. Just, like, once, you know? FP or HP. Usually you need to factor in the HP, but Refresh is an amazing way to do that and save on an item. Sometimes you don't need the item, you know? Like, if you're not worrying about exact healing, you don't need to worry about, like, you can just use Refresh, you know? And sometimes that actually works out, you know? Like, you could take 7 damage, go down to 3, right? And then you can refresh, and then you go up to 8 and take 7 damage again. Boom, you're in peril. Look at that. You don't even need last stand at that point, right? You just refresh. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's very good. It's a way to get into peril differently, too. It gets rid of status. You can't use refresh while you're statused, so that doesn't... Besides poison. So I don't think that's very useful. Or shrink, I guess. But the ones that really matter, like that you can't move in, are the ones you can't get rid of. Unfort. Okay. Lullaby. Lullaby is in the same boat as Timeout. Lullaby is a little worse than Timeout. It's a little worse. Sleep is a little worse of a status. However, it is good against Kenshi Koopa, and it's good against all of Chapter 5. They get fucked by Sleep. Just use Lullaby, man. Do it. Everything else, yeah, you're better off not even worrying about it, honestly. You could try it against Hallway Bowser, but, like, Timeout is a much better choice. Up, up, and away is C. Oh, God. Maybe I put refresh in A. It is one SE cheaper, but, like, I don't know. Okay, up, up, and away, a little better than Smooch. I still think it's pretty, like, whatever, but it's, like, you can get rid of things in Chapter 8, and it's kind of nice to just, like, area clear. But it's, like, I don't know. I wish they didn't give this to you last. I think that hurts it the most. But I guess it's supposed to be like, okay, you've gotten all the Star Spirits, now you can just, like, whisk away enemies without having to fight them. Kind of a thing. Still better than Smooch, though, IMO. They're both pretty bad. So it's, like, not that much better than Smooch. And I could see Smooch over up, up, and away, probably. But for me, Smooch is the worst. Okay, Chill Out. Chill Out is far and away the best star power in the game. -3 attack for 4 turns, no enemy resists. Like, what the fuck? What were they on? What were they on when they made this fucking star power? That's all I gotta ask. Like, someone was on something when they thought this was a good idea. Because this shit's broken. Like, it just pairs so well with the defensive Mario. It's so insane. And the fact that nothing resists it, except for Final Bowser and Hallway Bowser star rotting it away, is ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, it's crazy, bro. And then we have Star Storm. I think Star Storm is actually a little better than Refresh. I think this, yeah, Refresh and A is probably good. So, Starstorm is amazing. 2 star energy for a 7 damage AoE. Like, sometimes you don't need to use a shooting star, you know? Or an egg missile. Like, sometimes you need to deal 7 damage for some reason. Sometimes you just want to get rid of a whole group of Shy Guys. Sometimes you just want to Starstorm and then clean up with Cooper or Lackluster because they can do that, and it's less FP overall. Starstorm is one of your best friends. It's amazing, and it's crazy that you get it 3rd. It's like, I don't know, man. It's actually wild. You just, it's really good. And as you get more star energy, it's like, damn, I can just you can spam it a little, you know? I mean, obviously, like, you could just use a shooting star for 1 less, but, like, I'm just saying, it's like, it's really good. I definitely think it's better than Refresh. Because you don't always need to heal, you know. But I think the utility on the field, like in normal battles with Starstorm, definitely kind of outweighs what Refresh is capable of, even in like strategies and bosses. But I would not, if someone put Refresh above Starstorm, it would not matter too much to me. It's definitely Chill Out, Starstorm, Refresh top 3, 100%. I don't think I could ever let anyone put Chill Out not number 1 though. You could swap these two, and these two, and it would be totally fine to me. But that's just me. This is just what I think. Yo, what up, Harder DK? I mean, I would too, because I like to heal more exact, I guess. Like, if there's a way for me to heal exact HP that I need and exact FP I need, I try to go for that over, like, using Refresh. But, like, sometimes I just need to use, you need the 7 damage, you just, bam, Starstorm, you know? So, yeah, this is my Star power tier list. Whoa, look at all these. Enemy status items. Mushroom equals store-bought healing items. Thunder Rage, attack on Whack-A-Bump, non-store-bought healing items, cooked items, items found in the field, etc. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so let's do status items first, right? I'll just go down the list. Status items are... B. Most of the time you don't need status against enemies and bosses. Like, they're not bad, obviously. Like, they're a solid choice, but it's not necessary. No, most of the time you can just KO everything, including bosses. Like, you don't... There's only a few that I would actually status, and sometimes, like, even those, you don't need to status them. It's just, like, you can. Like, if I'm doing a challenge and I don't want to think about the bloopers, I'll just fucking Dizzy Dial or Dizzy Stomp them, you know? Or Kenzie Koopa, I'll just use Sleep. But, like, other things, I'll like, actually... Like, other times, I'll, like, actually strategize, but... No, not really necessary. Fright Jars are... whatever. Great for BP only runs, or any run where you don't want to gain as much experience. Like, if you want more control over the experience you're gaining in the forced normal fights, Fright Jars are good, but they're not, like, they're not useful otherwise. Despite my... So, I don't use life shrooms, but you can't count them out. They're literally the best, like, one of the best items in the game. You can literally make any mistake you want. You can die and come back to life. It's insane. Challenge runners, a lot of challenge runners try not to use life shrooms because they're so good. Makes it more challenging. I will say, though, this is important. You do not need life shrooms. I think a lot of challenge runners have proven this many times, but you do not need life shrooms for a lot of stuff, and they're not good for strategizing because it's hard to just die and come back. Like, if you're at 10 HP and you die and come back, it's like, well, you have to take all that time to get back down. It's like, oh, if you try to do it on purpose, it just doesn't make any sense to use life shrooms, honestly. It's like a strategy. But they are very good items. Like, for a challenge runner, they're not good, but I can't just discount, like, the utility they have, you know? Like, they're pretty good. Okay, mushrooms are store-bought healing items. Okay, I don't know if I want to do that. I think I'm just going to lump all the healing items together. Mystery sucks. I think Repel Gel is the best item in the game. It's very good. What's the Voltrum? Oh, it's its own thing? Hello? Okay, I'm gonna have to do mushroom for the healing items. I got it. No, never mind. Okay, so yeah, Repel Gel, Life Shroom, the two best items in the game, for sure. I don't have to put Volt Shroom in S tier. What are you talking about? I'm probably gonna condense this a little, honestly. But we'll see. You know what? I should actually change. Maybe I should change these tiers, honestly. But maybe I won't. Okay. Anyway, so Repel Gel, 2 turns of invisible. It's incredible. It's very good. I try not to use these two unless it's absolutely necessary. They're also very broken. They're a little better than Life Shrooms, but I feel like they're just only a little bit better. Like, it's very close. You could put Life Shrooms above Repel Gels, and I wouldn't bat an eye, honestly. Okay, so mushrooms are gonna be... Wait. No. I'm good. I'm actually good. I'm just gonna use Whack-A-Bump. Okay, Stone Cap, 3rd best item in the game. Now, you're gonna be like, Kappy, what the fuck? Well, Stone Caps, you can literally cheese so many bosses with this shit. Like, bring 10 stone caps and watch as your partner of choice eviscerates a boss. Probably Watt in the late game. In level 0, you can bring 10 stone caps and literally beat Master 3 with a base rank Watt. Like, hello? Insane. The only thing stone cap's not good against is Bowser. And Final Bowser. Or an enemy that, like, heals a bunch. Actually, I don't know, though. I think stone cap even would work against Crystal King and shit. Like, it just doesn't matter. Yo, I've been good. DK, hope you're doing well. Tasty Tonic is bad. It's very bad. In fact, it needs to be the only one in here, honestly. Fire Shell is, like, not as good as Electro Dash, though. Fire Shell deals the same damage it would because it doesn't pierce Crystal King's defense in vanilla. So it does 6 damage minus 2 plus 2. So it just deals 6. It's like 6 for... Yeah. Watt does 5. That's so much more of FP efficient. Yeah, I think you could too. Stone caps are pretty cheesy. It's only Bowser who you really can't do stone caps against, despite them being such a good item. Okay, let's do attacking items. Wait, oh yeah, I don't even have to talk about Taste Tonic. It is literal trash. All attacking items, including Egg Missile. These are amazing. Actually, I really think they should all be... Like, I feel like I shouldn't be... No, I feel like these items are a cut above attacking items. Like, attacking items are just that. They're attacking items. They're damage dealers. They're the reason why Double Dip is so good, but it's also like... You know, at the end of the day, they're just damage. It's like... You can do more cheesy stuff with these 3 than you can with Double Dip, you know? Like, I guess the way I'm thinking about it is that these 3 are really cheesy items, and, like, they get rid of all the strategy you would need. Like, they're really fucking ridiculous. I did use Stone Cap in a really cool way in one strat, though. But I didn't use Repel Gel or Life Shrooms at all. I tried not to use them. I think. Maybe I used Repel Gel once. I can't remember. But attack items are like, they're just attacks. That's it. That's it. They're attacks. You know what I'm saying? They're you deal some damage. Voltroom is bad. I'm not ordering these, by the way. Maybe I should order these. Voltroom is better than these 2. At least Voltroom could be used in place of Zap Tap. Okay, and then I'm doing all healing items are going to be Wacka's Bump, not the mushroom. I don't care about store-bought. Like, all healing items. Cooked, uncooked, whatever. All of these are amazing. They're all A tier. They're great to varying degrees. You can pick and choose how much you want to heal. You got some really busted ones, like Jelly Ultras. Not that you need that, but it's there, and they're busted. From a challenge runner's perspective, though, they're just not as good as these because most of the time, if you're usually at lower HP if you're a challenge runner, and like Life Shroom has way more value if you die and recover like more than half your HP or all your HP if you have 10 HP compared to a 50-50 heal. Like that shit's doing nothing if you have 10 HP. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. I would say this is about where it is. This is a pretty solid item tier list. Ultimately, items are like, they're in a weird spot too, because it's like, you know, obviously you can use them and they're great and they work, but Double Dip is really what helps items shine besides the top 3. I think at the end of the day, like, you don't need any items, right? But using them with like Double Dip and stuff is really cool and really strong. you don't just need to bring like 10 healing items and hope that's enough. Like you can just use double dip, man. I use a lot of like attacking and healing with double dip in my BP only video, so I definitely suggest checking it out if you're like curious what I mean. I don't use life shrooms at all. I try not to use them because they're so good. Like, and also I plan everything, so it's like if something goes wrong in one of my strategies and I use a life shroom, it ruins everything. It ruins the FP, the damage, the perfect damage, all that shit gets thrown out the window. So there's no point in me using life shrooms. However, I can't like in other challenges that's like where I'm not like super strategizing, having a life shroom or two on hand is really fucking good because they're so good. Especially if I'm fighting normal battles and I just like, get overwhelmed or something, it's like they're so good. They're so good, man. I did, but I can show it again, Red Reaper. Let's save this. Okay, so let's just go over them one more time. Here's my partner. Here's my items. Star, powers, partners. Oh, let me talk about this. Oh, sorry. Let me go over that. This is items. All of these are ordered, by the way. These are all ordered. All of these are ordered within their tiers for the star powers. Partners are all ordered within their tiers. And then here's badges. Again, only the top 5, only S tier is ordered within its tier.